What do you call it? What do you call it? What happens on my feed? If that doesn't point to, you know, I must be right. Like, what else do you call it? I just don't. How else can you explain this? How else does anyone explain what's happening here? It's not, again, I'm not in some mountain town. I'm not in the country somewhere. I'm not, you know, I'm at. What do you think's happening? I mean, what an interesting couple of weeks, don't you think? Please tell me what's happening on my feed right now. Please. You can say you've seen. You can say you've seen anybody else, then it's normal, right? There's just a normal weird. Anybody else, then it's normal, right? There's just a normal weird glitch or whatever. If you've never seen it before, if you're seeing something, like, think about how many options you have right now, and that you've never seen like you see it on my feed. It's the same as elevation. I'm not saying it's the same as elevation. I'm not saying anything about it. Maybe they're watching me. Wow, indeed, I'll go. Wow, indeed. I mean, at some point, it falls on you guys. It falls on you to override the system. Share this feed out as much as you know. Stand up to the system. Let them know that this isn't okay. We're in the United States, baby. See that? That's America. That's America. Look at all the American flags, like American flags. See the American flag? We're in America. It's America. We have the free speech here, don't we? Isn't that how that works? I mean, obviously Trump doesn't like that. Trump wants us to have. Trump is attacking the First Amendment, and Trump is attacking the First Amendment over bad guy land. It's not even about us. No, you're gonna notice there's a difference in how I approach things. I have to. I'm not allowed to say regular words. You know, if I say words, then apparently those are bad words. So we won't say them. We'll override this system's bullshit. And I need your help. I need you to like, I need you to share, I need you to sub, I need you to do those things because that helps and that tells the system, fuck you, we're not going to take this. Go get it. Go get that free download. www.bilderberg-group.com. Even a guy like Algo likes our shit. That should tell you something. Guys, this is the beginning of some really, really bad stuff. You know, especially if you're one of these America First people, which is just, it's a weird way of being racist. 12 months in prison for burning American flag. Who? I know you're speaking truth, right? Now you're all blurry. Yeah, well, they're doing what they can to make you quit on me. I'm not going to quit. We have to override the system. We have to do whatever we can. It's so stupid and any time in prison for burning a flag. It's just stupid. And it's just as stupid if you pledge allegiance to a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Don't you pledge allegiance to flags? So are you saying you pledge an allegiance? So anything that flag represents, you have an allegiance to it? You won't stand against it? That's what it's saying. That's what that programming is. And if you want me to pledge allegiance to the flag because of, the freedoms and all that shit, well, then you have to allow those freedoms to take place. Trump's assault on the First Amendment. Yeah, it's insane. But like, even if it's the in prison for burning the American flag, it at least fits, right? As stupid as it is, it at least fits. To get in any sort of trouble for speaking out against genocide in a foreign country by a foreign country, like, that's what's crazy. You can protest the United States here. You can. You're not going to get in as much trouble. I mean, now it's happening to a different degree, but you're allowed to protest the United States. You're not allowed to protest bad guy land. He shouldn't be able to do that. Who shouldn't be able to do what? Trump shouldn't be able to assault the First Amendment. Fuck no, that's insane. That's insane. You can be made a criminal for speaking words. Like, I've never had an issue with that. I get some of the worst things you can imagine said to me on here, and I'm never going to censor somebody. Other than doxing, I'm never going to censor people for speaking their mind. You say what you want. Most of the time, what you say points more to you than it does to me. Right? Like it doesn't. It shows what a dumbass you are. There you go. Now, prove the point. You're gonna show how stupid you are. You can't engage in the conversation, intelligently. So then you say stupid things. That's a pretty common occurrence. But you're seeing that you know, again, Algo might be able to attest to it because Algo is associated with my Facebook page. But June 1st, within minutes after being censored on here, I put a post saying, within a week or two, Bad Guy Land will do something that makes the last 2 years seem tame. Knowing that I had a 2-week break happening. And I we had the false flag in Colorado happen within a day or two. Then we had all this ICE bullshit. And then 2 days ago, Bad Guy Land attacks Iran. It's not a preemptive strike. It's not it's not okay in any way, shape, or form. They weren't responding to anything. Like they normally they try to, manipulate us by saying that Bad Guy Land is responding to something. But they didn't even do that this time. They just attacked. And now they're saying that the response that Bad Guy Land has gotten for attacking Iran is now that's the problem, because Iran responded. Iran should have just let Bad Guy Land attack them, and that should have been okay. But if you notice, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of the well, thank you very much. I don't have a bong. You gotta know your utensils. Shit, I got distracted. I saw the article where Iran was telling U.S., France, and others not to help Bad Guy Land. That's the first thing I gotta agree with. Yeah, the Iranian people are super happy. They want rid of Khamenei. Yeah, that's what it is. Who even says stuff like that? Yeah, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Oh, yeah, so you saw the video. I don't know if you saw the video of Iran's attack on Bad Guy Land. And not one of the missiles was intercepted. Which it proves the point that the Iron Dome is a fallacy. I've been telling you for as long as I can that all that Iron Dome shit, what normally happens, like with October 7th, Bad Guy Land shoots rockets into its own airspace, agreed upon coordinates, so that they can be shot down. But when you actually have an attack, the rockets get through. That's how that works. They've been lying this whole time, and the lies, the foundation of those lies is the Samson option. The Samson option states that should bad guy land ever be destroyed and or invaded, they'll launch their nukes in every direction and kill us all. Well, if you believe that, you're much less likely to attack. But it's not doesn't make it true. It's just policing your mind, like I was saying in the previous video. It's like in Clerks when he's sitting behind the counter and he has the sign that says take the correct change, you're being filmed. If you believe something, then this is how they've always operated. When they control how you think, what you think is secondary. So if you believe the earth is round, well, then you're going to believe in dinosaurs, you're going to believe in meteors and ice ages and pole shifts and all the other death, doom, and gloom they want you to. I'm out, brother. Oh, but I got pigs and chickens to feed. Have an indica stick for me. We'll do my best. Like the video, guys. Exactly. Like the video, sub, share the video. Do what you got to do. It might not seem like much to you, but it's definitely a lot. It definitely shows the system, at the very least, that we are not going to take it anymore. We are the best. King Goyim is going to arise. I don't see how this ends any other way. This is with all of us dead or or all of them. You prove it. Or you pick which one you want. Personally, I don't want the good guys to die. Go get your free download. Don't forget that. Music is our most powerful weapon. Why do you think they've attacked the music industry so much? First of all, who controls the music industry? Come on, we know this one, right? And they learned their lesson with the 60s and in the early 70s. You know, I don't know what the operation was called, but when they created the hippie, because at the time, it was the intellectual that was opposed to the war. The intellectual didn't want anything to do with Vietnam. Their grandparents were World War I survivors. Their father was a World War II guy, came home all fucked up and, beat his wife and beat the kid. And, he was all fucked up. You PTSD like a Mickey Vicky. They called it shell shock. So people that grew up in those environments, they wanted nothing to do with war. And so the system was like, well, how do we get the population behind the war effort? And they created the hippie. Their think tank sat around, okay, what do we want? We want guys with long hair. What don't we like? We don't like guys with long hair. We don't like sex. We don't like drugs. We don't like, we don't like freedom. We don't like all these things. So they created this character using their own kids. Jim Morrison's dad was the admiral on the Gulf of the ship used in the Gulf of Tonkin. If it doesn't get more obvious than that, I don't know what does. The Gulf of Tonkin is a well-documented false flag. Jim Morrison's dad was the admiral of the ship used in that false flag event. I used to love the Doors. I loved the Doors my whole life. Idolized Jim Morrison. I took a whole bunch of acid one night, and and still to this day believe that the spirit of Jim Morrison jumped through the video, through the movie into me. The spirit was passed on, so to speak. I felt it. And the thing is, I never wrote anything before that. I started writing after that happened. So something happened. Don't know what it was, but something happened. But as a 46-year-old man, I look at Jim Morrison and I'm just like, what a whiny little bitch. I see the character that was presented to us, and that's just embarrassing. But Crosby, Stills, and Nash, Crosby is from the long line of Crosbys off the Mayflower. Stills and Nash, their dads both worked in the mind control, in the government mind control programs. Nobody likes to bring up the fact that like all of those anti-establishment, we're against the establishment, the anti-establishment people had really, really lucrative record contracts given to them by the establishment. But that's what they did. They created the hippie. They created okay, so you oppose the war and you're a dirty hippie, or you're a good standing American citizen who works hard and does so, you must support the war. That's how they manipulated. And back then they could do that shit. They controlled every element of what people knew. Like, it's really strange to think about it at this point. I know we're taught to believe that the previous generations were so much more superior than us, but they weren't. Your average dumbass is way smarter than your parents ever were, than your grandparents ever were, because of your access to information. They didn't have that. Can the government say that breathing is good so this guy can stop doing it? So this is that Terry profile that apparently I should die because I have an opinion? Like, if my opinion wasn't such a powerful one, why would you want me to die for it? Why would you want me to stop? Why would you care? Why would you spend any time on me? If I was wrong, don't you have other shit to do? It's fucking Father's Day. Don't you have a dad to hang out with or some shit like that? Nope. You're here. This is some Team Jorge shit. This is Act IL. Mountains out of molehills, and their lies aren't too surprising when you. Yep, prove it. He is good, so what she said doesn't even make sense. Right? Yeah. If I'm a pedo, then show me in what capacity you have the audacity to say something like that. Especially considering the main goal of this feed has always been that we kill pedophiles. That we get to the point where pedophiles don't get any sort of second chances or anything like that. They get killed. You get found out that you're fucking with kids. I think it's a rapist thing. You get found out that you're a rapist in any sort of way, and we kill you. It should be simple. You do the opposite of what the government says. See, this is when the stupidity starts. Because you can't argue anything I'm saying, so you have to make up your own shit. And that's what you'll see consistently. Anybody watching this, if you're going to take anything with you, take that. Understand what you're seeing and make yourself a better arguer. Make yourself a better, debater. Because if you pay attention to what somebody's saying, the fact that they don't address what you're saying and yet still want to talk shit, that tells you something, right? If this person could argue against anything I'm saying, they would, right? They would. They'd make the. I mean, obviously, if they're saying stupid shit, if they could say not stupid shit, they would. But the fact that they say just the dumbest things they can say shows you exactly what's going on here. Shows you exactly, like it makes sense. If you're smart about it, it makes sense. This is what they have to do. Smoke is just projecting. Of course he is. Of course they are. These people that watch every day and all that other shit. What do you think they've been doing for the last 2 weeks? What have they been? The fact I go live for the first time in 2 weeks and they're here within minutes, even though they hate me so much, should tell you something. Go get your free downloads. This shit is insane. This shit is insane. What we're experiencing is a system still operating in those World War II, Vietnam kind of times, right? But we're not there anymore, I'm going to make fun of you. Here we go, people. I'm going to make fun of you. Here we go, people. Okay, so Terry Lynn, the TL profile is actually pretends to be a female. Who knows what it is? But there's no female in the world that wants it to go back to the 50s. If it did, then you wouldn't be able to say shit. Because in the 50s, women didn't have a very good position. But this is how this operates, right? Instead of arguing the points, instead of arguing, against what I'm saying, it's just this attention. Please, guy, pay attention to me, please. Like they really want my attention. There's a reason, there's a reason for it. But if you saw the videos, I don't know if you saw the pictures of the destruction that Iran supposedly caused. The one thing I noticed immediately, I didn't look at the destruction and be like, oh my God. I looked at the destruction and went, look at how big those fucking houses are. Look how big the houses are. And they're all free. They get those houses for free. They stay in their own family. It sounds pretty powerful. Yeah, that's what makes sense. Says dumb white guy. Dumb white guy. Right. Oh. This is the very best time to be alive for anyone. Even the Palestinians, and that at least nowadays it's being shown, because at any other point in history it wouldn't have even been shown. It wouldn't have even been talked about. They just would have done it and we would know none the wiser. This is the very best time for all of us to be alive. Women, gays, people of color, doesn't matter what your thing is, other than being a straight white bigot piece of shit. Because, straight white guys had it better if you believe that there should be the white supremacy and all that shit. Then I guess it used to be better in the 50s. But I shaved a man's back yesterday. Just drove by. My Habibi friend was like, man, I hate to ask you, but could you shave my back? Yeah, sure. He had some trimmers and it took a fucking half hour because the dude, literally his back looks like it's like a beard on his. It's okay. But just look at what's happening, guys. The revolution is here. Oh, I'm a dirtbag. Yep. Look at me. I'm a dirtbag because I think dumb white guys should not be in a position of superiority. Right? Like, look at how stupid this shit is. Oh, I think we have a bad guy here. I think we have a bad guy here. He's got those pockets. Yeah, I'm a dirtbag because I think we shouldn't. So we should have equality. That I believe in women's equality and rights and all that. I believe in the Palestinians having a right to exist, right? We're feeling the same way about dumb black people. Well, I feel the same way about dumb people in general, right? But yes, what's been done to black people to turn them into the caricatures that they are today? Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. And actually, our newest song is going to talk about it. Interestingly enough. Trans rights only. I don't know what that means. But if you have an issue with trans people, you just some insecure weirdo. I just don't understand why you would have any issue with it. Anybody that wants to be like, oh, just concerned about the kids. If you were really concerned about the kids, you'd be protesting against the church, the biggest kid violator in the world. It means the rights are for you. What? You have to do better. Seriously. All you guys keep doing is proving how stupid my opposition has to be. Like if you say stupid things, you don't make me look stupid. Everybody that hides their bigotry behind, oh, it's for the children. Oh, it's for the children. You're just a liar. You're just lying. If you cared about the children, you'd be all about, you'd be all about destroying the church. You'd be all about protesting, love God and the church, right? Because you're a pedo, right? I mean, that's, yeah, not surprising. You support pedophilia, you love the church and God. It's what it is. You're pointless, useless, comically powerless God. Like it's a joke. You're disgusting. That when you say pedo, if you're honest, the first word that comes to your head is priest. Right? Like that's all it is. Soy boy. Ooh, ow. Ooh, ow. Someone called me a soy boy. This is the best you have. Keep bringing it, man. Bring your best. Show everybody to be. Please. I won't make any reasonable arguments. We wouldn't want you to say anything intelligent. Just point out how stupid it is. This dude's a slut, blah, 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 blah. All these people mad because I think we should kill pedos and we should stop the genocide and slavery of all of us. We're all slaves. But the genocide that's happening right now, yeah. Like all these people are mad about that apparently. Who the fuck do you think is going to do that? Who do you think is behind all these fake profiles? There's more evidence to show you like that they'll have these big large centers. Team Jorge, I mean, just look up Team Jorge. They'll have multiple phones set up, and each phone will be controlled by a headphone, a computer, or whatever. And this is what they do. Calls people you don't know a pedo, and you tell people they're stupid. Well, if you support pedophilia, then you're probably a pedo. It's so ironic. All the money jokes are about the bad guys. Yeah. It's because we know it. We all know exactly who the bad guys are. We know who controls the system. The craziest part is that they've tricked us into thinking we've got a new alpha nutsack. They have us all believing that if we say this one group has all the money, the power, and the control, that is somehow a slur. How is that a slur? I wish that was what was said about black people. Black people have all the money, the power, and the control. That's not a slur. That's a point of pride, especially when you only make up 0.183% of the world's population. To think that such a small portion of the population would control so much, that's something you should be proud of. The only reason why you would try to tell people not to say that is because of the accountability that comes with it and the responsibility that comes with it. If you control all the money, the power, and you have the control, then the way the world works, all the negativity isn't just some chicken with its head cut off running around. It's by design. I'm talking about the bad guys. Because here in the United States, I don't have freedom of speech. I am controlled opposition, absolutely. Yes. Yep. Controlled opposition. I'm doing so well with it. They have me living in this poor ass neighborhood with, no money and shit. That sounds like a good gig to me. Not the Alex Joneses that flat out say, I am a bad guy. Not the Alex Joneses that try to get you to focus on everything but this one thing. Look at all this. Look at this stupidity. You know, I'm controlled opposition for telling you that pointing out who the bad guys are is not a a bad thing. It's not a slur. It's not a negative. You should be pointing out who the bad guys are. Why wouldn't you point to the bad guys? I love it.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for this here public service announcement brought to you by your friends at the Bilderberg Group and our friend Mickey. You better watch fast before you get you or your
Yes,
jury
he is Elva.
waxed.
Are you agreeing with Soy Boy?
What's that crappy
Like
thing?
me, I've always been one of those people that like,
Sounded quite obnoxious.
if it's the cool thing to say, if it's something like other, like I don't want to be that guy. I'm not repeating your thing. I'm not talking about what you talk about.
If I break it down,
Like remember a few years ago, for guys where everything was shaved and then they had like it parted up here, and I just remember thinking like, geez, it's weird how so many guys who were like, I'm not gay, saw some other guy with that haircut and was like, hey, I like that haircut. I'm gonna cut my hair like that. Trump is insane. I mean, but Trump is the thing. Like I don't give Trump the credit that everybody does. He's an actor. Remember, he was on that TV show for like 12 years. He's an actor. He's just doing the role that he's told to do. But it is strange to see how the Trumpanzees, like I wonder what it would take. Like he said, he could shoot somebody in the face in the middle of the street on live TV, and his supporters would still support him. What would it take? You definitely not America first. All he's done is lie to you. You guys remember when he said he'd end all the wars with one phone call? You got to remember what Trump ran on. Trump ran on the idea. There was only a few of them that the gas and the food prices would be cut, which not only didn't happen, but the opposite happened. That he was going to end all the wars with one phone call and blah blah blah, all that shit. None of that happened. It's just escalated. And all he's done is funneled money into this foreign country. I was asking that guy if he was saying Trump was controlled opposition. He definitely. That's not what he was saying, but yeah, he is. He's Netanyahu's little bitch. It's as obvious as it gets. I don't know what else. Like you guys remember a couple of weeks ago when I was telling you don't fall for this idea that Netanyahu and Trump are in a tiff because Trump's going around and going to the Middle East and talking to all these different leaders, and Netanyahu didn't approve of it or some shit. There was no rift there. There was no fight there. That was just some bullshit for us to think something else is going on. How about the false flag in Colorado, where you had a group of bad guys protesting in a pro bad guy land protest, right? So, what's up, Tenem? Um, the pro bad guy land protests, where these people are like are I can't say protest, not protest. It's like a rally. It's like a celebration of genocide. They're out there celebrating the genocide of children, the starvation of a population. They're out there doing their weekly celebration of this shit. And then supposedly some guy comes up with Molotov cocktails. What? What kind of stupid ass, you know, what kind of stupid attack is that? Can you he had three of them walked out with three Molotov cocktails? And of course, the narrative is that 8 people were hurt, 4 women, 4 men. Nobody was killed. They were just hurt. And of course, he's immediately hate crime, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Like, it's his family's arrested, all these crazy things. And then it just disappears. It just disappears.
Do your research. Maybe you might want to stop poisoning your children.
It's fucking crazy. Looks like we're being heavily censored. Heavily censored. Don't like us people telling the truth. They don't like an intelligent goyim. An intelligent goyim is a much harder to control goyim. And Team Goyim is the future. Like, how many of you America First people want to send American troops over to die? It's just shocking. It's fucking shocking. You know? The you know, the disgusting nature of what we're being shown and told we have to support. You're a bad American if you don't support genocide. If you don't support, like, again, our tax dollars. You know, look at the roads. Look at the fucking roads, man. Look how poor the roads are. The thing is, all these fucked up roads should be replaced with solar road technology. Then we can all have free energy. But, you know, that technology got bought up and disappeared real quick. It's what they do. You know, if you look at what they thought 2025 would be in 1925, 1930, 1940, what they used to tell us it was going to be. You know, we were supposed to be the Jetsons by now. Yeah. But too much came of it. You know, they can't let us have free energy. They can't let us have, you know, we have to all be on the verge of collapse at all times, living check to check, barely able to make it, so that we're you know, we're playing the short game. The thing about the bad guys is the bad guys are playing the long game because they live such a privileged life. It's easy to play the long game when, in the meantime, you're privileged. You have all the money, power, and control. Maybe it's not going to be your generation. Maybe it'll be a generation or two away, but the generations of you, until then, they'll live a great life. It's us that's playing the short game because everything sucks. You know, everything is so difficult, so we want these immediate changes, and we fall for so many different things because immediate change is promised. But it's like, you know, everything that's talked about, you call it conspiracy theory all you want. Everything I talk about is true. There's nothing I'm talking about that is like you know, a figment of imagination or you know, an exaggeration or whatever. Yep. Dumbass on here. You believe in submarines all you want to. You're not smart. 100% a figment of your imagination. Okay. You should prove it. You should prove it. You just don't realize how stupid you are for believing that. And you haven't looked into any of it, so you just don't know. So there's no sense in even engaging because you don't know what you're talking about. You just believe what you're one of those people who talks about a deep state. There's a deep state. It's a deep state. It's not the bad guys you can see. It's a deep state. I can, but you reject proof. Yep. See, there we go. Same old cop out it always is. You can say all kinds of stupid shit, but actually proving what you're saying, that part you won't say because I'll reject it. So then you don't say it. Like, what kind of stupid shit is that? I know the bad guys reject everything I'm saying, but I'm still going to say it. Bro, I've been on one. Yep. And I believe you because, you know, you have a fake profile on YouTube, so you must be telling the truth. Dude, they need to stop letting any moron use these lives. Exactly. That's the exact stupidity that they want you to think. Right? So you shouldn't, because you don't agree with what somebody says, they shouldn't be allowed to say it. You could easily go watch any thousands and thousands of other options are available to you right now. Not to mention the TV, your DVDs, Hulu, all that shit. You could be playing video games. You could be spending this morning with your father or with your children. You could be doing any of those things. But instead, you're going to come watch a feed that you don't like, so they shouldn't be able to do it. Rejecting reality. Yep, rejecting reality. Yes. I'm rejecting reality from a fake. You always have to notice is they'll keep harping on the submarines thing because that is a much more commonly accepted thing. There is no outcry or anything, and there is no negativity associated with it. It just is what it is. There's a whole lot of effort that's been put into you believing that, and people will believe it. All I have to say, go show me some footage of submarines underwater. See what you can find. Go look it up. The best evidence that submarines aren't real is the evidence of the people inside the submarines. They forget to show you that being inside something like that, as it's moving around, you'd be moving yourself. Whoa, whoa. But it's constant. It's everything. And you would think so of all the things I talk about, including the title of this video, you're going to focus on submarines? That's the thing that's more important? Videos of taking submarines and yeah. Oh, right. Well, video footage can't be faked and you're not talking about any real footage. You can actually look out. Yep. There are definitely boats that most of the boat can go underwater. There are definitely boats that can, majority of it go under the surface of the water. But it's when you look up the history, just like with everything else, when you look up the history that they want you to know, it's stupid. None of you know that shit though. Yeah. What would be the point of faking subs? What would be the point? Control. It's control. As long as you believe that the prison guards are armed and they have every aspect of escape covered, then you're less likely to escape. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. It's a great thing for distraction as well. But again, what's up, Doogie? Yeah, I know.
Is there any way I can add back in?
Yeah, probably, but we have stuff going on today, so it's a certain day. Huh? Oh, you forgot about that. But look at all of these comments that come through about submarines. Yet when we talk about genocide, when we talk about pedophilia, when we talk about the slavery and religious, all that shit, they have nothing to say. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird to think my belief in submarines is so important to so many people, yet the genocide that's taking place, I don't care about that. Think about how stupid that is. I highly encourage you guys to go look up nuclear submarines. Go look up the history of it. Just another one of these technologies that they needed it in the 50s, so they just made it. They somehow made a nuclear reactor that can fit inside a little submarine. 50s. Yeah, no problem. It's just dumb. It's like they just made hypersonic jets. 1969. We just get the Concorde. They just make it. It just comes out of nowhere. And the entire flight, look at any video you can find that shows you what computers look like in 1960s. And you tell me how that those big giant computers with the reels on them and the flashing buttons and shit, those were just where? Where were those all at? Just like the jet fuel in planes. Where does it go? It's all in the wings, huh? What is it, 68,000 gallons? All in the wings. It's funny how that works. Try paying for an internet search that actually works, dude. Right? You know, T-Mobile is that really low end. It's not like the biggest fucking cell phone company in the country or anything. I mean, just look at the stupidity that's coming my way. Look at how desperate people are. It's not like a single one of these people is an expert on the subject. It's not like anyone can tell you, you know, without looking, who invented the first nuclear submarine. What was the guy's name? You know, he was a bad guy, but then he converted to Protestant. I see the tards are doing well. If you're somebody that says tards, like, that's what I'm talking about. This is who I'm up against, right? Only the bad guys say those kinds of things. Only the bad guys don't care about who they offend and just say stupid shit because they can't engage in the proper conversation. So why did destroyers bother slinging depth charges? Right. See, the funniest thing about all these comments is, especially shit like that, you know because of why? Why do you know that they were slinging depth charges? Why do you think you know anything about anything? Because you were out there fighting, you saw it taking place, or you've been told by the same people that tell you bad guy land is the victim. Bad guy land does a preemptive strike, and then if somebody fights back, bad guy land is the victim. I mean, it's fucking goofy, man. You know, you believe what you're told because you don't want to be attacked. And look what happens when you you say things. Look at how people will come out of the woodworks to attack you because you don't think like they think. You don't buy the same bullshit they buy. You know, especially if you've looked into it and you know the truth. Like, I go look up the first 9 parts of Submarines Aren't Real. I do a great job of debunking it for 9 fucking days. Go look it up. You know, go look at my previous videos, and you debunk it as you go, as you watch it. You pick and choose each part you can debunk, and you tell me what's going on. Get a job, bum. Yep. I should be working on Sunday morning. I love the people that are here and talking shit, but tell me I should be working. You love it. I'm a Southern Democrat, and they have lost their... if you consider yourselves a Democrat, you're a dumbass. Right? You're a dumbass. If you call yourself one of 2 choices, you're a dumbass. They have you duped. They have your mind controlled. They've given you 2 choices, and you didn't even really pick it. Your parents probably put it on you, but you pick one. I'm going to slap you with the left hand. I'm going to slap you with the right hand. Which one do you want? And you're like, let me think. Well, what hand are you? Well, I'm left-handed. Okay, I picked the right then, because I bet you can't swing as hard with your right hand. See, I'm smart. Go ahead. Go ahead. Like, you're just stupid. As you're supposed to be. Nope, I don't trust any one of these idiots. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. They lie about everything. The entire system is a lie. It's a creation. It's a Hollywoodism creation. And I highly suggest everyone on here go watch the movie. Just YouTube it. It's right there. Go YouTube the movie Hollywoodism. Hollywoodism will answer all of your questions. And the best part is, all of your dumb shit won't work. It's not like some conspiracy theory. It's not like I made it. They made it. they made the movie to brag about themselves. And it says all of the same things that if I said it, it would be considered, oh, anti-trope, anti-bad guy tropes, and blah, blah, blah. They would pan it left and right, saying I'm not allowed to say the things that are said in that movie. They control this, they control that, they always have. They've used it. The one broad says you could say that the American dream is actually the bad guy dream. They say it. They tell you everything you need. Everyone lies to get their own opinions across. That doesn't make any sense. You lie to get your opinions across? You lie to people so they believe your opinions? Why not just use truth? It's a lot easier. I was working on a subtender in the Navy. I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were. Guy hasn't lied if you're actually looking at things. I even assumed he lied. Ask him. Everybody does. Because the funny part is, you know all these things. Like, all I'm really doing is validating a lot of shit for you guys. But because you've been so well programmed to attack, to not think along these lines, to not think for yourself, you think, well, you must be lying. Because what you're saying is so crazy that you must be lying. But I mean, if I was lying, it would be a lot easier for the opposition to debunk what I'm saying. I won't give you opportunity. I don't want you guys to be able to crush me, to debunk me. I'm coming at you with guns blazing, and I want you to fall for it. I don't want you to be able to just debunk and just destroy, why would I lie? Lying is not necessary. The situation is so outrageous. Like the reality of things is so outrageous, there's no need to lie. Mm-hmm. Crazy part is that for years I've been saying these things and I've been the bad guy, but now it's undeniable. It's really undeniable. Think about that. Like, again, we have more people that are so much more concerned with submarines, my belief in submarines, than they are anything else. Why? Why does that bother you more than genocide? Why does that bother you more than slavery, more than pedophilia? Isn't that weird? Aren't your priorities a little mixed up there? There are too many humans on this planet. There absolutely are. But one of the parts that especially white people don't like to acknowledge is that white people need to stop having so many unwanted babies. Like, we're so quick to blame the bad guys for everything when a lot of it is our choice. You have unwanted white people having unwanted children is the biggest plague in that department in the world. Even the rich people that have like 5 or 6 children, but it's because they have nannies and shit like that to be able to take care of them. You're not a parent at that point. You're like a factory, but you're not a parent. And don't get me wrong, black people need to be doing it too, but black people population. 13% of the population doesn't really do much. If I gave you a sandwich and this is 13% ham, how much ham do you think you would taste? You think you'd be like, yeah, I can really tell this is a ham sandwich. No, 13% is next to nothing. If they told you there was a 13% chance of anything, you wouldn't bet on it. You wouldn't do it. Although, none of you are mad about fluoride. And fluoride only might have a 3 to 26% chance of preventing cavities. It might. You're a slave now. Why do you think you are free? Someone taught you everything you know, and you're just repeating it. What experiences have you had the true understanding? Well, I don't know when you heard me say I was free, but I'm not free. Because you're clearly lying. Yep. Which part am I lying about? How come you can always say such vague nonsense, but you can't be more specific? It's weird, right? How come it's never like, dude, you're lying about this, and then you specifically say it, and we can have a discussion about it? How come it never works that way? I've never had ever experienced a submarine. The thing about the submarines is it just popped in my head one day. And I was like, I wonder. And I went live and I tried to prove myself wrong. I tried to prove that submarines existed. And it was the lack of evidence that furthered that. You do realize only half of the country works. 330 million people have. I don't think anybody should have to work. Like, the reality is we have the means, the technology, and the resources for everyone on earth to live a really good life, and most people don't have to work. Nobody has to work. If you made it so nobody had to work, there are tons of people that would still choose to because that's what they want to do. They don't like having all that free time. They don't like having all that free. They want to have something to do. And if you told them, hey, your job is that, you push this button and that's going to provide the people the power that they need, like, people are going to do that. But the reality is, machines do just about everything better. So we should have machines doing just about everything, leaving the rest of us to enjoy and live life. But this notion of, like, it's the women, right? The women's lives weren't meaningful until they went out and got themselves a slave job. You know, slave jobs. You got to have a slave job where you work 40, 50, 60 hours a week so you can take home 60% of the earnings you get. And I mean, it's just stupid. It's how this system works. It's what they do. If they keep you to the point where you're just exhausted, you're barely getting by, you're struggling with bills and all that shit, how likely are you to actually have the energy to fight? And especially if they offer little incentives. Oh, look, you can win the lottery. You can get a scratch off and maybe get some extra money. Then you're like, oh, cool, yay, look at, I'm so lucky. But it's all part of it. It's all part of the show. You know, dude, go find a friend. Just don't open your mouth and let all this dumb out. Yeah, that must be it. We don't want people thinking we should be opposed to genocide. We don't want people thinking we should kill pedos, we should kill rapists. We don't want people thinking we shouldn't be slaves. Look at how stupid this is. Not a single reason, like, if you go through these comments and you look at the argument, not a single one of them will be like a reasonable argument where you go, oh, that was a really good point. Not one. It's just all stupid. Desperate stupidity, trying to dissuade or distract or whatever it is. So we're not talking about what's really going on. And the reality is that the main thing we should be talking about is protect Iran at all costs. We should be talking about that. Everything else is to distract us from that. There's a genocide taking place. The bad guys have been killing children, like dropping bombs on people who they've dropped so many bombs on all of the infrastructure that the people are living in tents, in a tent cities, little tent villages. And then they drop a bomb on that. And the people are, most of the men have either been, taken hostage or killed already. So it's mostly women and children that are being eliminated right now. Name one person who has taught this information to Guy. Right. No. Yeah, you can't watch my feed and be like, oh, he clearly watches this guy or he clearly watches that guy. Yeah. I don't go that route. The best thing to do for me is to read what they want us to read. Wikipedia is their source. And you can find the video of Naftali Bennett saying that they used, when Wikipedia was first up and running, Naftali Bennett, who eventually became the prime minister of Bad Guy Land for a hot second, he was saying that they control Wikipedia. They were there to teach the editors and whatnot, the people that run Wikipedia, how to edit things and control things to have a Zionist perspective. That's what he said. And to me, again, Zionism is bullshit. Don't fall for that bullshit. But I want to read what they want us to read. I want to know what they want us to know. The conspiracy side of things is, most of it's controlled opposition, and or it's just distraction. They allow these people to exist because they provide a fantastic distraction. They're not telling you to focus solely on the genocide that's taking place. And the genocide includes so much. There's so many disgusting elements of the genocide that the bad guys are doing. Raping children, beheading children, blah, blah, blah. Free Allah from Iran. What does that even mean? Just stupid shit. Again, stupid shit. What am I lying about now? I'd love to know. Notice how it's always the same thing. The same shit over and over again. Blanket statements with no meat and potatoes to them. Yes, I believe submarines are not real. I believe we have boats that can go just under the surface of the water for sure. But do we have big giant tubes the size of 80 school buses that can go underwater 6 months without resurfacing and go 300 meters down? And no, stupid. You aren't, look at this one. You aren't smart enough to know you're, Y-O-U-R, lying. It doesn't get any better than that. I love when people call me stupid and don't know fucking third grade shit. What's the correct your to use? Way to, oh, you burnt me there. Ooh, ow, oh, ow. That hurt so much. Free California from socialism. Look at these dumb shit. It wasn't a typo. It was not a typo. That's a choice you made. You make that choice all the time. You didn't make a mistake. That's a choice you made. Bet you reference Wikipedia all the time. Of course I do. That's the information they want us to know. Just because you have a phone and a chat, stop doing it. If you're not good, yup, that's what it is. I shouldn't be talking. This is worse than flat earth theory. Yup, that's what it is. Even without sentences are probably bots. Did you know they say 60% to 70% of our internations are, yeah, of course. And the thing is, this is, like, you guys need to understand, look at what Team Jorge is. Team Jorge is your smoking gun of all of that. Team Jorge was exposed in 2023, and surprisingly, in the beginning of 2023. Long live the King Trump. Exactly. That's exactly what I would expect some dumbass to say. Just the incredible stupidity that they have. You ask them, what good has Trump done? They have nothing to say. You point out all the negatives, like him being best buddies with Epstein, and they want to forget about that. That's what's funny. Your people out there, nothing is funny about what guy is saying or what your evil team. Yeah. Anyway, Team Jorge is the thing that you should be focused on when it comes to the whole bot thing. Team Jorge is a bad guy, a guy named Tal Hanen. He's a bad guy Secret Service or a bad guy intelligence officer who started a company called Team Jorge. And it was their sole purpose is cyber activity, cyber hacking. He's been around for some 20 plus years. They've been doing this. And what he bragged about the most was having 30,000 bot profiles at his disposal. You'll see all kinds of videos of Zuckerberg and other representatives talking about how Facebook is and all these other platforms are working hard to eliminate troll farm profiles, bot farm profiles. They've eliminated 1,000 profiles out of China, 11 or 800 out of the Philippines. The bad guy land has Team Jorge is just one group, one organization, one black ops organization out of bad guy land, and they bragged as having 30,000 bots at their disposal. And of course, you won't find the interviews, or you won't find the interviews where Zuckerberg is bragging about eliminating bad guy land bot farm profiles. They don't do that. So yeah, the vast majority of these, I mean, who else could it be? Do you guys really think that there are real life, good people out there that support pedophilia, that support genocide, that like all these Americans, if they are Americans, you really think they're okay with us giving billions and billions of dollars to a foreign country so they can kill people? Like, it's crazy. If you mean planes, that's an entirely different physics than a submarine. Exactly, of course. This guy votes. Remember that. No, this guy definitely does not vote. I'm not stupid enough to vote. You're stupid enough to vote. But keep doing what you have to do, right? Keep creating whatever narrative you think you can argue, because you can't argue what's being said. But there's no, voting is for fucking fools. And all of you Trump pansies, you love to ignore the fact that the 2016 election absolutely proved it to you. Trump lost by 2.7 million. 2,700,000 plus more people voted for Hillary than they did for Trump. And for the third time in modern history, the Electoral College, who normally agrees with what the people pick, for the third time, they went against what the people pick. There's not another election that takes place where the person that gets the most votes doesn't win. But every once in a while, the first two times were when George Bush Jr. won, both times. But like the Trumpanzees never love to talk about how he lost the first election by 2.7 million votes. And then the swamp that he was going to drain, he promised he was going to drain. You know how he likes making promises he doesn't fulfill? That swamp put him in anyway. And the swamp was, a bunch of bad guys. It's so obvious. It's like all the Trumpanzees that pretend like Biden is who locked us down. You guys big fans of lockdowns because there's another one coming. Right? They're gonna it's called Sears this time, but they're gonna get us again. If you hate America so much, you can leave and go with the illegals. You love, guarantee this is a white person. Yeah. So if you hate America, you should leave. You shouldn't try to fix it and make it better. That's not what the foundations of America are based on, right? Protesting like the whole bullshit narrative of the Tea Party or even the pilgrims themselves. If you believe the historical narrative you're given, which is stupid, but it was a protest. They were protesting. They wanted to be Protestants. So they sailed across the ocean and blah blah blah, all kinds of stupid shit. But this is how stupid people are, you know. And of course, it's a female. Why would any females be Trump supporters? Other than you're really stupid. But what are you doing? What are you doing is talking shit. What are you doing is talking shit. Gotcha. Founders, not foundations. They found it all. You vote for more taxes. Shut the fuck up about tea. So stupid. Free Democrats from. Look at how dumb this person is. They just keep saying dumb shit. Socialism has never existed. There's never been socialism in any part of the world. Because nobody ever had the means, technology, and resources like we do today to actually do it. What you're told of as socialism is communism, and it's stupid. It wasn't real. But people love to ignore that whole Stalin and the Bolshevik Jays, the Bolshevik bad guys who killed 50 million Christians and all that. Never mind all that stuff. The real bad guy killed 6 million, even though there were only 3 million in Europe at the time. And most of them escaped here, but yep, he killed 6 million of them. Like, it's goofy. Are you just walking in circles outside, staring down at your phone, yapping? Are you watching me do it? Are you watching me sit outside my house and blah, 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 blah? So how do we save the world? Unification. Unification. Really, really simple. We reject all of their control mechanisms, their divisionary control mechanisms, and we unify. Black, white, brown, yellow, red, any of that, gay, straight, men, women, whatever it is, we need to unify and realize, like, the way that they think. We need to think like they think. Because anything that isn't them is considered goyim. Whether it's the people like us, or it's dogs, or cats, or tables, or chairs, or cars, or plane, anything that isn't them is considered goyim. And they have something called the law of return, which says even if you're not practicing, your parents weren't, even if your grandparents weren't practicing, if they identify as bad guy, you have the right to come back to Israel and get your good life. They are very, very unified. And they've tricked us into not being. We should be unified, but the world will never be. Well, as long as you believe that way, then yeah. But that's how you're supposed to believe. All right? You're supposed to believe that we will never unify. Do you guys remember, what was it, like 2002 or 2003, something like that, where the entire, like, northeast of this country went into a blackout? And we're always told that when shit like that happens, we, the dumb goyim, are going to go into anarchy and destroy things and blah, blah. We'll be terrible to each other. But what happened was that crime drastically dropped. People just got together. We unified for that week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it was. And everyone helped each other, and everything was fine. It was actually better. We are so much better than we think we are. But so much of it exists in this narrative where you're supposed to, you know, not only are you're not supposed to step out of line, but if somebody does, it's okay. It's okay to attack them. In this PC society where you can't talk about people being fat, where you can't talk about, other stupid choices people make. I don't know, you know. You're allowed to attack somebody if they say they don't believe the earth is round, if they say they don't believe in Jesus, if they say, whatever. There's a few different things that we can say that somehow you're allowed to be attacked. And everybody knows that. They've experienced it, they've seen it. Why can't Iran have nukes? If you think Iran, well, because nukes don't exist. Nukes aren't real. If nukes were real, somebody would have used them by now. Nukes are just this boogeyman that they tell us exists. But nukes don't exist. This idea that Iran has been on the verge of nukes for fucking like decades, just decades. But they just can't figure it out. No, we can't figure it out. We almost there, but we just can't figure it out. It's just the same thing as, you had Netanyahu. I heard Hannity saying it. That Iran has been on the verge of nukes and has been threatening bad guy land for decades. They've been on the verge of attacking bad guy land for decades. If they've been on the verge of attack, why have they only been on the verge of attacking for decades? They never pull that. Just on the verge. Tell that to Japan. Well, let me ask you this: when you think about nukes, don't nukes exist, and then when they blow up, the land is unusable, and it's going to be decades and decades before anything can happen because the fallout is so bad and all this other bullshit, right? That's what you believe. Not only are nukes devastating in real time, they devastate for decades, centuries later. The area will be radioactive and blah 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 blah, right? Isn't that what you believe? First of all, I highly suggest everyone look up Galen Winsor, who is known as the father of modern day nuclear physics. Galen Winsor went around for quite some time doing presentations showing people that nukes just aren't what we think they are. But when you think about something like Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki are thriving communities. What happened to the fallout? What happened to the land being unusable? What happened to radiation lasting forever and blah, blah, blah? Go look up Chernobyl. The area of Chernobyl, the trees have all overtaken it. The animals are like everything that's there, because humans are sort of taken away out of the picture. They're not allowed to be there. That land is thriving. Your Y-O-U-R. Come on, get your yours right. Then Mr. Krabs upon your organ. Maybe when I'm done. We'll talk when I'm done. Different ordinance from Chernobyl. Whatever. Guys, it's right. It's all there. They tell, you have to understand that damn near everything that you think, you believe, blah, 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 this has all been given to you. You haven't actually experienced it. You don't actually know any of it. You've just been told to. And when you understand that the same people that tell you that lie to you all the fucking time, then like the difference between you and I is I'm not nearly as arrogant as you are. And I know a lot of you will be like, what? You're super arrogant. You blah, blah. No, I'm confident. I'm confident. I don't think I can beat anybody in basketball. I don't think I'm going to win any math competitions or, you know, I don't think I'm insert other profession here. No, I just know about this stuff a lot. I'm confident that I know about this stuff. But the difference between you and I is that you are so arrogant that you think you can tell which things are lies and which things aren't. Like most of you don't, you know, you'll be like, oh, Biden is stupid, or some kind of bullshit is a lie. You think a lot of you don't believe in the 9/11 narrative and all these other, like you're smart enough to see bits and pieces, but you're arrogant. Your programmed arrogance makes you think that you can tell the difference between when they're telling you the truth and when they're lying. And that's the, that's the crux of it all. Your arrogance. Instead of you just thinking, you know what, they're lying to me all the time, and until I have definitive proof, I'm not going to believe it. You believe what you're supposed to. You fight about things. You divide yourself from your brothers and sisters over these kinds of things. When the reality is, you think, oh, you hate black people, you hate Asians, you hate Mexicans, you do all those things, and you're white, so blah, blah, blah. Well, the real bad guys, they hate you. It doesn't matter what color you are. Bad guy land hates you. They just want you to continue being a good cog in the wheel, continue being a good goyim and creating tax dollars that can be taken from us and given to them. That's what they want. And really, people always get stuck behind the whole follow the money bullshit. They print the money. If you print the money, you don't care about the money. The money is not there for them. The money is there for us to not have it. The money is the proverbial carrot on the stick. They show you all this amazing life and all this good shit that can come from having money, but you're not going to achieve it. They're not going to let you achieve it. You have to put your arrogance down. And I know that sounds weird, right? But you just don't realize, most of what you believe is just bullshit. It's literally bullshit. Right there. There's so many people that'll tell you chemtrails aren't real. Oh, chemtrails aren't real. Oh, chemtrails aren't real. If you look up, you put chemtrails into the Google machine, what pops up immediately is the Wikipedia page that says chemtrail conspiracy theory. Then when you click on that, the first line says chemtrails are the erroneous conspiracy theory that the trails left behind by planes that last for a long time have nefarious purposes. And the first two sentences sort of push that. But then the third sentence says, stratospheric, it mentions stratospheric aerosol injection and marine cloud brightening. Then you click on stratospheric aerosol injection, and it's high-flying planes in the stratosphere injecting chemicals and whatnot from planes to dim the earth. Because, the whole idea of global warming, do you guys realize how stupid that is? Right? Do you guys realize how stupid global warming is? They have us all freaking out because they say the average temperature of the Earth has gone up by 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. When you think about it from that perspective, and you know, all this global warming and the ice caps are melting and all this other shit. So am I to believe that the ice caps, the temperature in the polar regions is hovering right at 31, 32 degrees at all times, and then the global warming made it go up to 33.4, so now everything's gonna start melting. It's fucking stupid. It's a way to distract you and keep you fucking pointed in the wrong direction. Look at dumbass says, Wikipedia got it right for once before he realized that Wikipedia says marine cloud brightening and stratospheric aerosol injection are things. They're fucking, it's a well-documented thing. And the reality is, you know, they supposedly have been trying to do chemtrails since the 1800s. Since before we even had planes, they were talking about shooting liquid carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Thing is, carbon dioxide doesn't have a liquid phase in reality. It's either dry ice, but it goes directly from solid to vapor. There is no liquid phase unless it's under intense compression and held at the right temperatures. Which you gotta ask, how the fuck did they do it? Plants go better when it's warm. I mean, it's just the idea that in the last 100 years, the average temperature has gone up 1.4 degrees. Like, to think that that's reality, that they've just been taking the temperature all over the world for the last 100 years. And I mean, what? Are we saying it's 1 degree what's 1 degree warmer? If I gave you some water and it was 76 degrees, and I gave you another water that was 75 degrees, and I told you to tell me which one it is, stick your finger in there and tell me which one's 75 and which one's, you're not gonna know. 1 degree difference is nothing. But this is just, you know, the information is all there for you. They don't hide it from you. That's why it's important to read the sources they want you to read. I love the fact that people want to shit all over that I use Wikipedia. Well, what am I supposed to use? Wikipedia is the government page. It's a government controlled page. It's edited by specific, you know, bad guy editors to say specific things. And if I were to sit here and say, well, I got that information from Alex Jones, well, then everybody would be like, oh, that's bad. But somehow, because you don't have any arguments, now you're going to say Wikipedia isn't the source? It's fucking awesome. Free Palestine, yeah, to a degree. I'm not a Free Palestine guy, though, because, you know, what are you saying? Did you say Free Palestine to Iran? You say Free Palestine to Lebanon? You say Free Palestine to Yemen? All of these countries that are you know, victims of the bad guy land. It's not about Free Palestine, and it's not even about bad guy land. Bad guy land is just an invisible, you know, the borders of bad guy land grow by the day. It's not anything specific. It's just an idea. Bad guy land is the idea. It's the cult that bad guy land houses that's the problem. The cult, the disgusting cult that violates their own children. You know, if you look at what they do to their... Man, sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's not about Free Palestine. We have to change. Free Palestine is the thing that we're semi-allowed to say, you know. Just like Zionists. Zionism is the bad guy that we're allowed to focus on. We're allowed to say, I oppose Zionism. It's not that. It's the cult. It's the cult. The whole cult itself is the problem. And it's the cult that controls everything and manipulates everything. And people say, well, I know some nice cult members, or there's a cult group over there that is actually opposing this stuff. Yeah, well, that cult still calls you a goyim. If you believe that you are born special and the rest of us are just the shit here to serve you, well, I don't support that. And the reality is, why would you need me to support that? If your belief structure is the right one, why do you need me to support it? You believe it, right? So what does that matter? Understand, it's a game, it's a control, it's manipulation. You are being manipulated on all the levels. You know, the reason why the United States is a Christian nation is for them. Because as Christians, for some strange reason, you Christians don't seemingly know your Bible. Like, you don't understand what your Bible says. All of the characters in your Bible are bad guys. You know? All the stories are all bad guy stories. Even your Jesus is a bad guy. And when you understand, like what they've magically done is they've created a narrative where the bad guys of the Bible, because Satan isn't the bad guy in the Bible, the bad guys in the Bible, the ones who kill your superhero, your Jesus, they killed your Jesus. Your Christian God's only son, they also happen to be your Christian God's favorite people, chosen people. Do you understand? Like, that's how that works. That's why this is a Christian nation. If we weren't a Christian nation, there'd no way, it wouldn't exist. We wouldn't just turn a blind eye to everything that's going on. But because of that mental fuckery that you think if you oppose your God's chosen people, well, that's probably going to affect your afterlife. I mean, you want to go to heaven when you die, right? Nah, who cares about what's going on when I'm alive? It's when I die, that's when the real party starts. This is how they do it. It's a mental game. This is a worthless channel. Yeah, so why are you here?
If I was pushing Jesus, I would be world famous. It's much easier hurting sheep with their lips upon your anus, but what should have been deleted now pay charlatans to Seamus. You have to only be conceited to push something so damn dangerous. Strength and such nonsense holds favor. The game is a bust, an obvious failure. That have violently tailored my story to match. You'd then happily pay for the diamonds I snatch off African backs so they make my fingers shiny. But I fall through the cracks while I try redefining all of the whining and crybaby wishing. Yet me toying the line brings thanks for my giving. See,
Checking in on your bullshit. Oh, that makes sense. Well, but it's worthless. So why are you checking in on a word? You just have a whole bunch of worthless channels that you just check in on all the time? Just keep digging that hole. Let's see what other stupid things you can come up with. Blame Jesus. You give all you pay while you constantly pray. Why don't you hear the bell? Blame Jesus. Blame Jesus. It's amazing, man. It's amazing how obvious it all is and how easy it all is. Remember, if anybody that's talking shit could say anything better, they would. This is the best that they can come up with. And that should tell you everything you need. Like, if I was sitting here talking about the benefits of unicorn poop, they'd have something to say. When the submarine conversation comes up, everybody has something to say. Bunch of nonsense, but they still have something to say. Talking about bad guy land, talking about the slavery, talking about all that. It's amazing how people shut down. How does that work?
And what makes their quest divine? Would you ever learn to
Wake
pray
up,
for
people.
someone who's holding blind Jesus?
You know, if Jesus and Christianity was the real like key to salvation and shit, it wouldn't be everywhere. They wouldn't push it on us. The craziest part is how all you Christians, like every Christian throughout history, has believed that they would see Jesus in their lifetime, and then they died. But they all thought Jesus is right around the corner. Jesus is coming back, and it's crazy because, you know, your best case scenario is appalling. It's disgusting. You know, Jesus coming back means as soon as his little sandal touches the ground, what again, I'm kind of, does his foot have to touch the ground or the sandal? But as soon as they touch the ground, the 22 good Christians that exist on this planet get raptured while the rest of us all die. In Armageddon, we all die. All the children, everybody's gonna die. And the funny thing is like, again, Christian arrogance, you know, they think that all these people exist all over the world are choosing whatever religion that they have or choosing not to be Christian. So, you know, what about all the children in China and shit who have never even heard of Jesus? They're all just gonna die. How can God die? You don't. God doesn't exist. So how could it die if it doesn't exist?
Don't forget to grab your daily affirmations every day between 7:30 and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Just think about it. I mean, it's all there. It's a manipulation. It's there to control us, keep us stupid, keep us, you know, chasing the carrot that we'll never get to take a bite of. And the entire, you know, like the whole thing about Christianity is that when you die, everything's good. You have to die first. It's so stupid. Like, obviously it's fake. Obviously it's a control scheme. But you guys don't like that. You would think Christians would be more proud of what they believe and more knowledgeable and be able to have a conversation about it without getting upset and all that. But they don't. They can't. It's a joke. It's a joke. I would be so embarrassed if there was something that I claimed to believe in, but I didn't. I couldn't have a conversation about it. And please don't say conversate. Please don't say conversate. If you say conversate, you're fucking stupid. All right, on to the next one. A man would be famous. They're killing people right now, man. They're killing children. Like every day. What if, oh, and then, I forgot. And then there's the Greta Thunberg thing. All this happened in the 2 weeks that I wasn't allowed to talk. The Greta Thunberg thing is shocking. It's shocking how brazen the bad guys are and how they just get away with it. They literally kidnapped her. They kidnapped her, and then they do this arrogant thing where they claim that she was deported, like she snuck in there willingly. She was kidnapped, taken to bad guy land, and then deported. And you have Trump talking about she needs anger management. Like, all of you people in anger management, you should be offended by that kind of shit. He's using anger management as a joke. Oh, she seems like a very angry person. You should be angry. They're trying to make it seem like you're a crazy person for being angry that bad guy land is facilitating genocide, perpetuating genocide. You guys understand how crazy that is? Any good person out there should be opposed to what they're saying. To starving of children. You know, that can you imagine how scary it is for the Palestinians that the people, the bad guys that have created your need to get aid, food and medicine aid given to you because you had a decent life and you had buildings and hospitals and schools and all that shit, but bad guy land bombed the shit out of them. So now you're stuck needing help, and the help is the people in charge of distributing the help are the same people that did this to you. The same people known for poisoning things like drinking water systems and shit like that. Look up well poisoning. You're only going to see stories that involve bad guy land. Or bad guys, because it goes back to before bad guy land was established. But still. Like, it's fucking nuts. It is fucking nuts. I can't imagine how, like, having to choose between... And the reality is, I guess I can, because we all live in that society anyway. We have to feed our families, and we know we're feeding them poison. But it's so much worse in that scenario. And everything associated with it is just fucking backwards and broken. Like, most of you don't know. The idea that Hamas is stealing the aid is such a dumbass lie that only they give you. Like, they control the news and the information you have, so they control your perspective using these bullshit narratives like Hamas is stealing shit. Hamas isn't stealing anything. It's just Hamas doesn't even really exist. Hamas is just bullshit. Hamas is just bad guy lands, ISIS or Al Qaeda. You know, they're not real. Just like the October 7th. No bad guys died on October 7th or were taken hostage. It's all just bullshit. It's all false flag bullshit. This is how they operate. You know, I think Ian Carroll might be controlled opposition, but man, he's good at what he does. He is definitely educating you on what's happening. He's allowed to educate you on what's happening. Because, you know, again, he's allowed to exist. Me, not so much. But it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And the thing is, there's tons of Ian Carrolls out there. That people that are blowing up the narrative and showing you what's real and, you know, exposing the truth, right? It doesn't go the other way. Even your goofy Ben Shapiro's and shit, they don't actually debunk any of the conspiracy theories. I would love to have Ben Shapiro or even dumbass Tommy Robinson. Iran loves the LGBT. No, they don't. That's the weirdest thing about this, is to sit here and you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Even though, you know, I don't support Iran. I don't support any Muslim country out there that does all that bullshit. But again, look at Insecure Alpha. If gay people bother you, it's probably because you got some shit going on that you're not dealing with. And it would be much better for everyone if you did, but no, Iran is not like the good guy here. They're just the better of the two. any place that is considered a Muslim country, just like a Christian country, it's bullshit. The three Abrahamic religions is all you need to know. It's all Abrahamic, meaning it's all control. The father of all three of the main religions is Abraham, who also happens to be the father of the bad guys.
Kisses no Cranbrook ass. In fact, I've witnessed my path getting stabbed with shit.
And the whole gay, the gay hate, the phobias, the bigotry, all associated with gay and trans, is a you're distracted by people being born a certain way, but you're not focused on the people that choose to be horrible.
We can do the impossible. We do it every day. The things once thought illogical, we prove and prove away. The lines we saw as nautical are now redrawn in space. Evolution's in your optical. Just look at your Chevy Chase.
Yeah. Oh boy. Nobody knows. Nobody gives a shit what the fuck you are. You're a bot. You're a goofy ass bot. You know, the one thing I did a long time ago was issue the challenge, right? If you're on here and you're a shit talker, then take a minute, 10 minutes, whatever it may be, and make a video about how bad I am. Oh, look at that. Coming from Selfridge Air Force Base. Make a video proving that you're a real person and talk about how shitty I am. Send it to me. And once you prove to me that you're a real person, then I'll take you serious. I'll take you a little more seriously, we'll say. But it's funny. I'm giving everyone this. I'm giving you an opportunity. You know, I'm giving you a way to prove something. And none of you seem to take it. None of you seem to be confident enough to show that you're not a bot, that you're a real person. Isn't that strange? You'd think you guys would jump at the opportunity. You could make, quick little Guy Williams sucks videos and hurt my feelings while proving that I'm lying. You'd prove that I'm lying because I say you're all bots. You prove that you're real and I should take you serious. Like, there's lots of stuff you could prove by making a simple video. And none of you seem to want to do it. Isn't that weird? Pretty weird. Pretty weird. It's an easy way to show you what we're up against. You aren't worth an entire video. This is deflection because you can't even fight off comments, let alone actual videos. How does that even make sense? Like, this is how dumb they are. This person literally, this profile literally typed this shit out thinking that's gonna make sense. I'm not even worth it. So I'm worth you sitting on my feed for hours, day after day. But to make a short or to make a 5-minute video where you tell me how terrible I am, nope, you're not worth it. And I can't fight off the comments, let alone fight off the video. I'm gonna sit here and fight off the videos? If you want the excuse, then that's fine. You have your excuse. I guarantee you don't watch everything you watch on TV or whatever isn't people just sitting still. But hey, all good. You have your excuse, run with it. Yes, you are absolutely worth commenting while I'm sitting on the toilet, but you are not worth an entire video when you just deflect anyway. Yeah. I'm just deflecting. I'm not literally answering what you're saying and responding to what you're saying. I'm deflecting. Deflecting is saying I'm not worth it. You're worth watching for hours, but you're not worth making a quick video over. Gotcha. That makes total sense. And bad guy land has the right to defend itself, but nobody else does. Literally, can you believe that anybody other than dumb bad guys, who else is dumb enough to say shit like that? This is bad guy land at its finest. These people are the stupidest people in the world. That's why they don't want you talking about it. If they were confident, if they were intelligent, they would encourage you to ask questions and debate on these things, and because they know that if you look, you're going to find good stuff, and they're confident that they can destroy any argument you make. Like I do, right? They would do to me what I do to them. I do it because I'm confident. I know I'm right. But this cowardly bullshit, this is the same, if you open up the books on bad guy land, you demonize bad guy land. Well, if you were doing good things, there would be no demonizing you. But this is they're so stupid that they make my argument for me and they just don't realize it. This is the same sort of stupidity. Again, you open up the books on bad guy land, you demonize bad guy land. Open up the books all you want on me. You're not going to demonize me. And you would prove something. Instead of just proving that you're just a dumbass bot, following your programs, you would prove that I'm wrong definitively. There'd be no denying it. This is an actual video of a person saying these things and feel like, okay, then there you go. We actually have proof. They can't. First of all, they're ugly little trolls. They don't want people to see how ugly and disgusting they are. But secondly, it would show you that it's all them. It's all bad guys. You're not going to have a bunch of black people making videos about me. You're not going to have a bunch of, rednecks making videos about me. If it was really the people behind these profiles, you would see nothing but noses. And it's, the proof is in the pudding, man. It's all there for you to see it. If you want to see it, you will. If you don't, you won't. But it's not like it's real difficult. One of the biggest distractions, one of the best things they've done is convinced us that the solutions are the problems. And they've convinced us that we shouldn't talk about these things. And like it's a fantastic manipulation. And it's this insulating thing that protects them so we don't talk about it. But the solutions are the problems. One world government, that's the solution. One world religion, that's the solution. But if you believe in the bad stuff, you'll push it, you'll resist it. You'll resist the solution. A one world government where everybody has the same rights to life, where we all have the same freedoms and happiness and all that shit, opportunities, and why would that be a bad thing? A one world religion where we all worshiped man and our accomplishments and our capabilities, and not this sky daddy or that sky daddy. Still going live ranting. Yup, that's what I'm doing. Still trolling, I see. Like, this is the best you get. Am I supposed to be like, oh, ow, you think I'm just ranting? Oh. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's all right here for us, guys. They underestimated us. They think we're so stupid that they put it out there. Everything is available for you to see it. You know, all you have to do is look. And I highly suggest you look at what they want you to know and just look at it, critically. Scrutinize it. Don't just believe it because you're reading it. Scrutinize it. See if it makes sense. How come nobody's screaming Iran has the right to defend themselves? How come all the pundits, all the talking heads on the news, how come none of them are screaming Iran has the right to defend itself? They were saying it about bad guy land. In bad guy land, they've been justifying their genocide because they claim that around 1,200 people in bad guy land were killed. Of course, they also claim that they killed around 1,500 Hamas almost immediately. So they're not necessarily lying, but if you read all of the reports, right on, all biz. If you read all of the reports, they never say around 1,200 bad guys were killed. They always say around 1,200 people were killed in bad guy land. Because they're telling you. They're telling you that yeah, the one thing that you'll see or you won't see is the funerals. When you know about bad guys and how important funerals are and all that shit, then you understand that immediately there should have been around 1,200 funerals happening. So, half of which happening that day, apparently, because that's how they can do it. I always suggest you guys look up the case Samantha Wohl. She was a bad guy community leader here in Detroit. And she was found stabbed to death in her front yard October 21st, 2023. And the entire trial, all of it is just fucking insane. It's such obvious, a bad guy manipulation bullshit. But the craziest part is that the newspapers on October 22nd talk about how beautiful her funeral was and over 1,000 people attended. She was found between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. on October 21st. You're telling me that within a few hours she had a funeral? How would you have a funeral? What was the death toll for the Palestinians since October 7th? Well, the fucked up part is, again, you're only getting like a chosen narrative, right? They say it's around 55,000 Palestinians have been killed and like 120,000 have been injured. But they've been saying that it's around 55,000 for, the last year. And they're killing at least 100 children every day. And they're just dropping bombs. And there are multiple examples of them just killing hundreds of people in individual, bombing raid campaign, whatever you want to call it. So this idea that it's still 55,000, like, it's just bullshit. It's not believable. It's well into the hundreds of thousands. But even more telling is that prior to October 7th, I can't remember if it's 273 or 243, so I always go the conservative 243. Bad guy land had killed 243 civilians and taken thousands hostage by October 7th. It was setting up to be the deadliest year for the Palestinians since 2006. So even if the whole Hamas attacked, and which they didn't, it's all bullshit. The whole thing is bullshit. But even if it was real, it would totally be justified. They would totally be justified for having attacked and supposedly, killed, blah blah blah. With their paragliders and their motorcycles. How do you kidnap people with paragliders? You paraglide in, you grab them, okay, now you grab a hold of this bar and you run really fast. And we'll get up enough speed where the paraglider will take back off again. You realize how stupid that is? The whole thing is bullshit. The bad guy land claimed that within the first 20 minutes, Hamas launched 20,000 rockets. Or 5,000 rockets within the first 20 minutes. It all happened so fast that the most heavily surveilled area in the region didn't have any footage of it. But they claim that somehow Hamas launched 5,000 rockets in 20 minutes. That's 4 rockets per second for 20 minutes straight. So how much does an individual rocket cost? More importantly, how much do rocket launchers cost? How many rocket launchers do you need to be able to launch 4 rockets per second for 20 minutes? How did they smuggle all of that? They can't smuggle in food. They can't smuggle in aid. They weren't even able, because the blockade was around the Gaza Strip. And Bad Guy Land said that they weren't even allowed to bring in lumber because lumber could be used as a weapon against Bad Guy Land. So how the fuck did they supposedly sneak in 5,000 rockets and however many rocket launchers it would take to launch 4 rockets per second? You know, there are so many questions with all of this. Do you guys know that the Bad Guy Land Hamas War 2023 Wikipedia page? So in November, like a month later, I think it was, in November of 2023, I just had this thought. I wonder if the typical narrative that exists where the Wikipedia page or maybe like aid pages or the fuck, the word's escaping me. Fundraiser type pages show up a day or two before the actual event takes place. It happened with Handy Sook. It's happened with countless events where, you know, these aid pages were made before the event took place, right? So I thought, because I had actually done this before. One day I was checking to see, I thought, I wonder what because the unprovoked invasion of Russia. Listen to my new song artist. Okay. I remember when the unprovoked invasion of Russia into Ukraine happened. Most people don't realize that shit happened like a day or two after the Prince Andrew trial wrapped up. Virginia Giuffre, who's now dead, decided that she said she was going to take this all the way. She wouldn't take the money, and then suddenly she decided she would take the 16 million pounds and disappear, and stay disappeared until her death, where a couple of weeks before her death she came out talking about they're trying to kill her, and then she died. But that whole trial wrapped up. It just went away. The next day, the mask restrictions were lifted across the country. For some reason, the next day, everybody in government woke up and was like, hey, you know what? Let's lift the mask restrictions. We're not going to give any reasons. We're just going to do it. And then within a few days, the unprovoked invasion happened. And the unprovoked invasion happened because people were immediately like, well, where are the tapes? Where are the Epstein tapes? Where are the Epstein tapes, right? And so one day I was thinking about all of it, and I said, I wonder what the connection between Russia and bad guy land is. I wonder if there's any sort of connection. And what's interesting is that the reason bad guy land doesn't directly help Ukraine is because Russia controls the airspace over Syria. And bad guy land wants the permission to be able to attack Syrians that, and attack Syrians while claiming they're attacking Iranian proxies. And they didn't want the beef with Russia, so they needed Russia to still allow them to attack Iranians in Syria. Like it's all just bullshit. So that's why bad guy land doesn't attack or doesn't directly help Ukraine. And so I looked up that the invasion, the official Wikipedia page on the invasion, and that was the first time I saw that it was actually made the day before the invasion took place. And I thought about that, and I thought, I wonder what it says about the bad guy land Hamas War 2023. And so I looked it up, and back then it was much easier. I don't know how to do it now. It's much more difficult now. They've changed things up, so you can't do it as well. But I think it was November 7th. It might have been November 1st, but I think it was a month later, November 7th. I looked it up, and back then you could just click edit history and then click back enough times to get to the first edit made on the page. And eventually I got to the first edit made. I don't know if that's necessarily when the page was made, but I know the first edit was made. Are you just going to keep going? She obviously doesn't see you, dumbass. The first edit was made. So the supposed event took place at 6:30. The supposed event took place at 6:30 a.m. The attack took place at 6:30 a.m. October 7th, 2023. The page was first edited at 6:22 a.m., 8 minutes before the supposed attack. And if you did what I did, if you can still do what I did, you see that like I tried to edit the page, and what it said was you had to have like 80 plus edits already approved by Wikipedia, and then your profile would be sent to a committee who would vote on whether you'd be allowed to edit, and then if they approved you, you were sent to another committee, and if they approved you, then you'd be allowed to edit. It was really weird. But there was like 5 or 6 profiles that immediately were laying out the narrative for the next few days. I ended up reading the edit history for the next 3 hours, till about 9:30 or something like that. And in that first 3 hours, they were talking about, they talked about the 5,000 rockets. They talked about the how they had killed 1,500 Hamas immediately. They laid out all this stuff that some of it wouldn't happen for days, but it was all laid out for you right there. And each member of that little team, one would lay it out, the next one would come in and edit things, the next one would come in and move things around, the next one would come in and they would just, this process kept repeating itself till they got the page to where they wanted it to. But again, the page was created or first edited 8 minutes before the attack took place. Even if it was the other way around, even if the page was made, the first edit was made 8 minutes after the attack, would that make any sense? You telling me there's this attack taking place and somebody's running over to edit Wikipedia real quick? And somehow they know exactly what's going to happen for the next few days? It's all just bullshit. It's all, and that happens all the time. So you have to ask yourself, who's behind that?
Scripted TV from the
But then when you look, I mean, you can find it really easily. Naftali Bennett, the guy that would later become the prime minister for a minute. I mean, it's interesting because so many of you haven't been following. You've only been following this since October 7th. But I've been following this story. I've been putting bad guy land into the Google machine and reading the news for years now. And you can see how, how they operate. And I actually predicted it. I actually said in like April, May, maybe June of 2023 that if bad guy land didn't orchestrate a false flag and then commit genocide, by December of 2023, I would quit doing live feeds altogether. And it's not because I'm some sort of psychic. It's because it was obvious. It was all laying out right in front of you. How many of you know that Bad Guy Land bought 42,000 slaves, supervised laborers, slaves from Delhi, India in early 2023? Did you guys know they did that? 38,000 earmarked for construction, 4,000 for elderly care, because even they don't want to take care of their own elderly. But the crazy part is, those are all jobs the Palestinians were forced to do. And it's not like they had this surplus of work and they needed to bring in extra people. So where were these 42,000 workers going to work? Oh, they're going to kill them. The number that they give us, around 55,000, boy, that's really convenient. You haven't heard about Bad Guy Land, suffering from this. Their main labor construction force was the Palestinians. But they haven't had any problems because they brought in all the Indians. It's just crazy. It's just fucking crazy.
No more cheeks with tongue. Have you lost your goddamn mind? I know the sheep are blind. We seem to see.
Yeah, don't do drugs. Yep. Don't do religion. Don't do genocide. Don't do stupidity. If anything I'm doing is some sort of compromises me in some sort of way, then you should have an advantage. You should be able to really paint me in a corner and make me look stupid. But never seems to work that way, does it? This whole thing is just, it's shocking how obvious it all is. All the videos of the hostages kissing their supposed hostage takers, saluting them, shaking their hands, celebrating with them. Like, it's fucking insane. It's insane. Nobody would do that. And yet this is the narrative we're consistently given. Why are we consistently given the same narrative? Do you know that there has been 2 hostages that have been, are like the stars of the hostage thing, where their videos are put out of them repeatedly. They're still hostages. I think one got released. But those 2 hostages have been on video since their kidnapping was even on video. Their being taken was even on video. And then they put out these bullshit narratives that they were kept in tubes 3 feet wide by 40 feet long. Bullshit. It's all just bullshit. Their arms and legs were bound and bags were put over their heads. No, that's what they're doing. There's an actual video of bad guy, IDF bad guy forces. 3 of them come up with those big body armor shields and they stand in front of the situation while another one rapes a Palestinian behind the shields. And they actually got busted for it, but the bad guys, the bad guy civilians stormed the place and demanded their release, so they got released.
Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment. Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment. Corporate accounts payable, Nina.
I ain't seen one of these videos yet. I ain't seen. Well, gee, there's a surprise. You ain't seen it. This is the most well-documented genocide in history. And if you haven't seen any of the videos, it's because you don't want to.
Why don't you go ahead and come in
Hi, Manfred.
I'm gonna need you to go
Like it's just stupid, man.
I almost forgot. Why don't you go ahead and come in on Sunday too, okay?
Go back to the Greta Thunberg thing. You know, they kidnapped this broad. And then they use all their same fucking tactics. It's a selfie yacht. They called it a selfie yacht. They said it was a publicity stunt. To bring publicity to the fact that horrendous things are taking place and that the governments are complicit. You know, the ship that she was on, the Madeleine, was flying a UK flag. It was under UK protection. Why isn't the UK angry that one of their ships was attacked with their people on it? It's really, really appalling how that whole thing worked out. You know, if they were on if it was a selfie yacht, why weren't they taking and posting selfies the whole time? They were trying to bring food and aid and medicine into the people. They were in international waters. Their boat was rammed. A part that doesn't get talked about, but it was mentioned, was that a white powder substance was dropped on the boat before anything happened. And one of the broads said it was burning her eyes. Randy doesn't understand how live videos and shit like that work on YouTube. If anybody wants to explain it to him while he watches me, feel free. Gaza isn't even a real place, right? Right, these are the stupid arguments that these idiots make because they don't have any arguments. They can't address what's actually happening, so they say stupid things like Gaza isn't a real place. Right, like it hasn't been on maps and Palestine hasn't been on maps for hundreds of years and blah blah, like that's not a real thing. No. Like Bad Guy Land wasn't established in 1948. Bad Guy Land wasn't on maps. But you got dumbasses like Charlie Kirk, who I would just love to not only destroy, but I'd love to punch him in his fucking mouth. Tanya? Hi, Tanya. Bro, you got like 20 people watching. You can't even see numbers, huh? Somebody explain to Randy what numbers mean. What a 4 and a 3 next to each other mean. Because Randy's obviously really, really smart, you guys. He just needs some help. Charlie Kirk would what? Yeah, he would. Charlie Kirk wouldn't wipe the floor with shit. I'm live right now, and anyone that could wipe the floor with me, you know, they could be in the comments saying anything they want, and they don't. Charlie Kirk's whole, it's not a real place. We're worlds apart because it's Judea and Samaria. Who gives a shit what you want to call it? Whatever bullshit it's called doesn't really matter. We're not really talking about the place now, are we? Not that Gaza isn't a person. Palestine isn't a person. What we're talking about is the genocide of the people, right? The people. Now we're going with the same old shit it always is. Take your meds, yep. Because mental illness and all that, that's a joke, ha. Funny, somebody that needs to be on meds and mental illness making you look this stupid has to be pretty embarrassing. Hey man, if you're laughing at the idea of genocide, you just keep proving my point. You're one of these weird genocidal pedophiles who is desperate to make sure someone like me doesn't get any sort of position of power because you know you'd be wiped out. Of course. No, blah, 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 blah. Again, all of these people have this stupid... You're not going to address anything being said, though, huh? You're the one that said Gaza isn't a real place, so why don't you back that up? Why don't you engage in the conversation? I kill pedos, come get some. Okay, Randy. Okay, I'm going to jump in my car and come fight you because you're stupid. Oh, I just love it. These are just the dumbest fucking people. And you know, if I was these people, I would absolutely be like, no, I'm a bot. Because if you really are a person who's this stupid, it's embarrassing. Nothing's funny about Bad Guy Land. Nothing. It's disgusting. It's the home to the disgusting cult, and that cult needs to be eliminated as soon as possible. Are you queer? Maybe. Where are your facts? Let's see. Are you denying that there's not a genocide taking place here? Are you saying there's no genocide taking place and you know the Greta Thunberg thing isn't real and the control of Hollywood and government and all that stuff, the control of the money, and you're saying none of that stuff's real, huh? Yep, I'm a loser because you're stupid. I'm a loser because you don't understand how social media works. Yeah. Yeah, I always thought it was funny since Greta's, emergence onto the scene, you have all of these adult men who are just attacking her. Like, how dare she say we need to make the earth cleaner and better? How dare her? Just clowns, man. Yep, 10 pounds of food. Yep, that's what it was. She didn't have rice. She didn't have meds. It was, yep. Just so stupid. Such brazen stupidity. She made sure not to do it in the right way. Yep, she didn't do it in the right way. Bringing aid to people that are being prevented from having food and aid, there's a right and a wrong way to do it. And the right way is to give the aid to the people causing the genocide to begin with, causing the need to begin with. Because they're going to do the right thing. The people that are known for poisoning wells, water systems, the people that are known for the craziest shit, we should trust them. So stupid, man. So stupid. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, right? I appreciate them coming in here and making these arguments for me. This would be a lot harder if you guys weren't here. Now, see, again, this is so easily triggered. What are you even the fact that anybody uses triggered as a sort of a burn, right? Triggered is a really serious thing. When people get triggered, usually it has to do with some sort of abuse. So again, go figure, the genocidal pedophile supporter.
Almost done, Dad?
If I was, you'd know. The genocidal pedophile supporter is also going to make the same kind of dumbass jokes too, huh? I'm going to fold like a lawn chair. Are they? Because it sure doesn't seem like it. It sure seems like they're kicking ass. And you have to wonder, like, are these Americans that are saying these things? Do you think it's anything but more bad guy, either bots or profiles that are saying these things? Why would anyone want to bad guy land to exist? Why would anyone want to keep giving bad guy land, trillions of dollars? I mean, it's all just such stupidity. And if anybody thinks it's real, like if anybody thinks my opposition is real, or is anything other than Israel, you're foolish, man. Why would any American be on the side of the bad guys? It's just disgusting. Especially, like, you obviously must not know how they think. Tree hugger Greta went in a sailboat, but they only used the diesel engine. No, that's not how that works. But hey, if you're a man and you're attacking a woman for doing the right things, that says a lot about you. This woman, the balls this woman has, it's way more than anything any of you have. The incredible balls it took for her to get on that ship and do what she did, knowing that she was putting her life on the line. She's really lucky that bad guy land didn't just attack her like they always do. Of course Vincent is supporting genocide. Right? This is what they do. This is how this works. They have to support the genocide because they're genocidal pedos. They're bad guys. This is what bad guys do. Notice how they don't deny it. Not one of them denies being a pedo. Not one of them even gets mad at being called pedo. But they all sit here and they're supportive of genocide. They're supporting the idea that, even the fact that American soldiers are going to die over this. It says a lot. And of course, the Trumpanzee is going to come in and just say Trump, because what can he say? Ask a Trump supporter what he's doing. What has he done that still warrants your support? They don't know shit. They don't have shit. Remember all the lies that he said when he ran for office, that he was going to end the wars with a phone call, that he was going to cut the gas and food prices in half. This is Epstein's buddy, remember? Good old Epstein. Funny how you guys love to forget those things. Remember when he promised that Hillary would be in prison when he got to office? That didn't happen, now did it? I don't know how anybody can support bad guy land at this point. Right? Like, what do you're the clown that's going to say, what? What can you say? It's these are the worst people on the planet. This cult is the worst group of people on the planet. They are disgusting. Probably losing a Democrat rundown. Yep. Oh, the Trumpanzees, man. They're just as dumb as it gets. It's funny, but it's scary, man. It's scary that so many dumb people can exist in such a, loud, boisterous way. Like, it's just disgusting. And because you're stupid, right? You're stupid. You go, well, I'm dumb enough to pick one side when they give me two choices. And I picked this side, so that means you must pick the other side. It just shows you how stupid you are. You can't actually argue the points being made, so you come up with your own shit. Oh, Fabio, how do you like your men to have their hair cut? What do you prefer? You prefer your men with short hair? Is that how you like your dudes? You're not making any points, dude. All you're doing is throwing out hate. Oh, man. What a dumbass thing to say. What a dumbass thing to say. I'm extremely proud of my hate. I'm extremely proud to oppose Semitism. You know, Semitism is policy or predisposition favorable to the bad guys. So if you're anti-supremacy, then, you know, you should be proud of it. Why does anyone think they should get policy or predisposition favorable to them? What did they do to earn such a distinguished position to where they get the policy and the predisposition that gives them favor in every situation? What's Trump done to be hated like this? Let's see. He lies about everything. His association with Epstein, was Epstein's best buddy, and you know, it was his presidency that allowed him to die, and then there'd be no investigation or anything into it. Trump locked us down. I love how all you Trumpanzees forget about that Trump locked us down. It was the Trump presidency that locked us down and cost so many people their jobs, their livelihoods. So many people had loved ones they weren't allowed to see because they were in an old folks home or whatever, and they died. Like, no, Trump's done plenty. But, you know, Trump is just an actor. He does what he's told. Like, this is the part that's always so funny about Trumpanzees is they say all the right things about every other government official. But for some reason, this piece of shit, this racist, homophobic, sexist piece of shit gets a pass. Gee, I wonder what it is. Oh, ow! This guy's saying I'm gay. Ooh, ow, that hurts my feelings so much. Oh, I should come out. Yeah. When you can't argue the points being made, you say stupid things, and you just can't fucking. You can't deny it. Look, good old Randy's here. Randy likes his dudes with a shaved head. Gotcha. What has he done that's racist? I'm not even going into it. All of Trump's policies are racist. He's a very racist piece of shit. The funny thing is you have Omarosa's book that came out, and Omarosa validated that he was very racist. He says racist shit behind the closed doors and all that shit. And you know, and that book disappeared. It just disappeared. Her whole everything. She has disappeared. We haven't heard from Omarosa in a long time since she put out that book. What am I supposed to do? Tell him to stand back and stand by? How about that fucking racist wall that he insists on building? Like, it's just, you know, the thing about the Trumpanzees that's always so interesting is what cowards they are, right? They support this man because he's racist, because he's sexist, because he's homophobic. And yet they don't have the balls to actually just come out and say it because they know they'll get their shit kicked in. You know? So they sit here and pretend like, oh, well, I'm not racist, but, well, I'm not racist, but, well, I'm not racist, but. Remember when Trump said that Mexico would build the wall, pay for it, and like it? The funniest thing is, again, your average stupid American. So our tax dollars get stolen to build the wall. all the products that are then that we get from that side, from the other side, well, they then say, well, we raised all the taxes and put all these tariffs on shit to pay for the wall. So now the government gets paid by us to build the wall, then they get paid on the back end through the tariffs and the taxes, because we don't get any of that shit. We end up having to pay more for it because we had, you know, all those, they're going to raise their prices. Of course they will. They have to. Like, there's literally no benefit that comes from it. But this is, you know, Trump proved the racism. There was no talks about, you know, South Americans, Mexicans coming up from the border and committing all these crimes and all this other crazy shit until Trump started running for office. Then suddenly everybody's in danger from Mexicans. The reality is, in your life, the people that have harmed you more than anyone else are white people. On the highest levels, on the unseen levels, it's the bad guys, right? But in your everyday life, you've had white people screw you over more than anything. You've had white people, you know, if you're a female, you've been assaulted by white people. You've had white people, you know, just do so much more to you in your life than anyone else, but you're fucking racist, so you don't see it. Why would people go Yep, there you go. Instead of pointing out something I'm getting wrong, just some dumbass statement. I'm a dumb person because I think we should stop the slavery, stop the genocide, and kill pedos. Oh, I'm such a bad guy. Do you guys see like how desperate and stupid this is? Understand, everybody that's watching, understand, if anybody on this feed could debunk or anything I'm saying, or make me look stupid, anything I'm saying, they would. They're clearly here to cause some sort of disturbance and distraction. They're here for negative purposes, so why wouldn't they just focus on what I'm getting wrong? Right? And to sit here and discount my value while you're clearly watching me. Like the irony and the stupidity of these dumb fucking bad guys. It's just mind-blowing. If I wasn't doing something that mattered, you wouldn't be here begging for my attention. Trying to get me to stop doing what I'm doing. Trying to get other people who are watching to think I'm just crazy, so they shouldn't be watching. So many people love talking about me. I'm talking about the big picture, and they want to talk about me. What does that say? It's fucking Sunday, it's Father's Day, and all these people are obsessed, so obsessed with me, that instead of doing anything else, they're going to come on this feed and beg for attention. Pretty interesting, don't you think? These are all must be genocide supporters. They must be pedophile supporters. You know, it's not like they're going to come out and actually say it. Yes, we support pedophilia. Yes, we're racist. Yes, They don't say these things because they're cowards. But if you just read between the lines and you just see what's being shown to you, you know, actions speak louder than words. Just look. You know, there's a guy, Gordon Flowers, right? Alex Rosen. He's a fucking absolute piece of shit. I fucking hate that guy. He's a bad guy, Trump supporter, which is weird because most of the people he catches are Trump supporters, but he doesn't seem to get that. But he's a bad guy land supporting bad guy who is a Trump supporter. Who, you know, which is, again, kind of weird since his whole gig is to go after pedos, and Trump is an absolute pedo. You know, look up Katie Johnson. Look up the Katie Johnson story. While we were all being locked down and being distracted by COVID in 2020, Trump was actually, like, it actually got to the point where Trump was considered the defendant. So I don't know if that means he was actually charged or how far that goes. But when he's considered the defendant in the Katie Johnson case, where there were 4 separate incidents of him violating her, including full-on rape. You know, she's 13, 14 years old. This was happening in June of 2020 while everybody was all distracted. Nobody heard about it, which is weird. You would think it would have been a big story. And the only reason it went away is because Katie Johnson, her and her family, they pulled out because the harassment was so tremendous and there was no protection for them. They got scared. Trump was found guilty on a bunch of this. 22, 26 charges? He's a goddamn criminal. This is the man that said, is it wrong to be more attracted to your daughter than your wife? And if he wasn't her father, he'd be dating her and all this other shit. There are pictures of his daughter grinding on him. Nobody talks about all the pictures of Trump and Diddy together. Trump clearly went to some Diddy parties. Trump was best buddies with Epstein. Trump, Stephanopoulos, and Epstein were known as either the Three Amigos or the Three Musketeers. I think it's the Three Amigos in the New York night scene for years. Trump is on the list. It was the Trump administration that decided not to do an investigation into Epstein. It was the Trump administration that got all of the tapes. In all of Epstein's residences, there was a safe. All of them were wired with a control room that, the technology involved only comes from bad guy land. But in each of his 3 residences, there was a hidden control room that was connected with audio and visual to all of the other rooms in the house. And in each one of those places, they found a safe. And inside the safe were flash drives, were DVDs, were videotapes. And on each tape, it would say the famous person's name, the name of the person that they were, essentially raping, and how old they were. They found all these. There was no, they told us they found them. This isn't some secret that someone like me made up. They found all these tapes. And it was the Trump administration that was in charge. They didn't say, hey, we found all these tapes, let's bust all these people. Remember when all of you were fooled by QAnon? and suddenly this revelation happened and tapes and blah, blah, blah. And everyone was ready to revolt because at the same time they were trying to put all the COVID restrictions on us. And you had QAnon that was telling everybody to just trust the plan. Trust the plan. Remember? Yep. The stupid comments are too much. I'm going to keep reading because you need attention. You're not going to say anything that matters. But you look at this. Blah, 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 blah. Let's have blah, blah, blah. Let's bang for your blah, blah, blah. Okay, so seriously, what the fuck would I read the comments for? It's the same dumb shit every time. What, are you going to deny that under the Trump administration they raided Epstein's residences and found all the tapes? You gonna try to say that's not true? That didn't happen? You're Y-O-U-R, not winning, dude. I love how stupid they are. I'm gonna take your opinions and your logic seriously when you don't even know the right your to use. On a machine that will tell you the right your to use. It'll give you the option. It'll underline it if you don't use the right one. It'll be like, hey, you screwed this up. And I would say it's because you're too lazy, but I think it's just because you're too stupid. Because it doesn't take any more or less effort to use the correct your. You just don't know which one to use because you're, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, really stupid. Oh yeah, look at that. We've gotten taken all the way down to 2 people. Because that makes sense, right? We start talking about the reality of things, the Epstein tapes and all that shit, and go figure the fucking feed gets messed up. All these Trumpansies, Trumpansie America First people. You guys big fans of your First Amendment being destroyed? Like it's funny because again, why would I read the comments? They're not going to actually address any of the things being said. I would love to hear how these people feel about the First Amendment being destroyed, but they're not going to say it. They're not going to acknowledge it, just like they don't acknowledge the tapes. You know, the Epstein tapes should be the biggest thing. Like everybody should be demanding the Epstein tapes. Where are the fucking Epstein tapes? But instead, you're just distracted. Interesting how that happens. You know, gotta love the video with 11 likes and 3 viewers. That's how that works. We were all the way up to like 80 at one point, but now it's down to 3 because what? It's amazing, man. It's all really telling. You know, the dumbass bots are really telling. If they could answer anything, if they could say anything, they would, but they can't. And so instead, you know, I mean, they are saying shit. You know, you're always saying something. If you don't say anything, you're still saying I support it. If you don't speak against it, you support it. And if you know, if you're involved in a conversation and you're avoiding the topic being brought up, it's because you're scared of it. You can't talk about it because you don't know anything about it because you're stupid, or B, it doesn't work. It's crazy, yeah, well. I'm not sure which crazy you're talking about, but you know, any real person, any normal person, if you saw what's done to my feed, you would think, what the fuck? That's not how social media works. You'd see it. You'd be honest about it. You'd look at all the dumbass comments and how desperate everyone is and think, why don't they just say things more intelligently? Why don't they, you know, just argue the points being made instead of saying dumb shit? Look. Nobody does nothing. Nobody does nothing. Nobody does nothing to your people. People just go and realize everything you say is stupid and then just leave. Yup, that's what it is. It's what it must be. Nobody does nothing. So you're saying somebody does something then. That's what you're saying, but you're just too stupid to realize it. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you for coming in and providing the example. Because this would be so much harder without the constant examples. If you don't think that the feed they give us, that the platforms that they give us, that they don't manipulate those same platforms and they don't censor those platforms, you don't want to. You know, the evidence is everywhere. It's all over the place. You can easily see it. They acknowledge it. You know? They acknowledge. Stupid is what stupid does. Stupid is what stupid does. Yeah. Yeah. Clearly, there's more than 2 people here even commenting. Yet, it says 1 person here. It says 0 people here. If that doesn't scream censorship, I don't know what you're talking about. But the person calling somebody else stupid who says nobody does nothing doesn't know how to get the right yours right, you know, can't actually argue about any of these topical conversations because they don't know any of it. They like to surround themselves with a group of Trumpanzees, and they all just sit there and, you know, smell each other's butts and throw shit at the walls. Hey, Trump, 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 Trump. And you go, okay, yeah, why do you support Trump? Trump, Trump, I said Trump. Like, the level of stupidity is just phenomenal. Again, these are all people who apparently are big pedophiles. I don't know how else you would see it. They definitely have nothing to say about the Epstein tapes or anything like that. The cover-up, you know, the cover-up of the death and the investigation and all these things. They just, it's I don't know how else you see it other than pedophile bad guys. It's all it could be. And in bot farms. You know? And they're so stupid. Again, this is, if you open up the books on bad guy land, you demonize bad guy land, it's that same stupidity, that same mindset that thinks that's a good statement. That's a defense, like that. Yeah, that makes us sound good. Just shows you how stupid they are. Yeah. All these things to say, but never have anything to say. Never have nothing. They never have nothing to say about the Epstein tapes and all that shit. Aren't you guys supposed to be smart? Look at all these fucking lines. They are spraying the shit out of us. They know it's Father's Day. They know everybody's going to be out barbecuing and all that shit today. So they know people are going to be outside, right? Look how stupid they are. They want to bring up shit like Trump, but then when you address it, they run and hide. They're pedophiles. I mean, it's the only thing I can imagine. And the thing is, you know, if you're a Gordon Flowers fan, and as I was saying about Gordon, as much as I hate that dude, he you know, does great work. He exposes pedophiles, so he has my support. He's a J piece of shit, and he's a bad guy to the core, but he exposes pedophiles. So anybody that does that is cool in my book. You get a pass in my book. You know, unless you're actually violating kids. But you see it, man. There are just so many people out there that are pedo hunters on YouTube. And the thing is, they only manage to catch a small portion of the people that actually reach out to them. So the amount of pedos that exist in our society that are out here day after day, you know, supporting Trump and all that, it's way more than you realize. They wouldn't be able to catch multiple people per day if it wasn't a much bigger problem than most people realize. And who do you think? Imagine that. Like I said, it'd be like me going into the Gordon Flowers page and talking a bunch of shit. Dude's doing good shit. I happen to come across your profile and see that you're somebody that's out there perpetuating the extermination of these pedos. Well, like I've always said, you could be a racist. Like you only go after gay black guys who target children, and you're still gonna have my support because you're going after people who target children. You would think, like I would think, that all of these people who come through here, even if they disagree with me on, I mean, I'm not even sure what, but if they disagree with me on something, if they don't like my haircut, they would go, oh, wait, dude, you think we should kill pedos? You advocate for killing pedos? Okay, cool, you get a pass. But they don't. And you see it all that, like, everybody you ask in real life, what do you think we should do with pedos? Nobody ever says, well, we should, pay for them to be in prison for a little while and maybe get in some programs that don't actually do anything and, blah, blah. No, everybody says we should kill them. And if our government is our representation of us, then why don't the laws change? Look at the stupidity here. Look at how desperately stupid these people are. They're the ones that bring up Trump and bring up shit. And then when they get exposed for being the pedos that they are, they just start saying crazy, stupid shit because they can't. They can't. It's not possible for them to debunk or deny what I'm saying. Normal people do not repeat themselves. What kind of stupid shit is that? Yes, normal people don't repeat themselves. That looks like a female profile. That makes sense then. Yeah. Gotta love it, man. Come on, Trumpanzees. Tell me what I'm getting wrong. How many of you guys know that Attorney General William Barr, the guy that was specifically brought in just before the Epstein bullshit went down, he absolutely should have recused himself from the Epstein case, right? Because Attorney General William Barr's father is who gave Epstein his first job in charge at the Dalton Academy. He was the headmaster at the Dalton Academy, the prestigious J school, prestigious bad guy school, who instead of hiring somebody with, a degree, because Epstein didn't even get enough credits to get his degree. Instead of hiring an older person with credentials and shit, for some strange reason, Attorney General William Barr's dad thought Epstein should have that position. Meaning, William Barr and Jeffrey Epstein clearly knew each other. They clearly not only knew each other, but their ties go way, way back to, the early 80s, I believe. And this was the guy who decided that we shouldn't investigate the Epstein death because he saw some other camera footage that nobody else was allowed to see. Funny thing is, after he fell apart on live TV, because he was brought in during the Trump impeachment bullshit, after he fell apart on live TV, they shipped him off to Alaska, to some place way, way up in northern Alaska where no politician had been for 100 years. They ship him up there for a couple of months, so nobody can interview him, and so the shit cools down for a little bit. You know, Godfather type shit. But does not have a significant other. Okay, so I 100% do not have a significant other. But if I do, so I guess that's less than 100%. She's just waiting for him to die. Oh. Yeah, okay. Look how desperate you are. So instead of addressing the actual points being made, you're making up some weird fantasy in your head. And then talking about it to whom? Who are you talking to? Instead of addressing the Trump stuff, the William Barr stuff. Like, it's funny. I guess you got to look at it like if I walked into a place where it was just stockbrokers and they were sitting there talking about stocks and selling put options and all this other shit, I'd feel stupid. I wouldn't I wouldn't know what to say. I might be able to pipe in here or there. But if I really, like, it more reminds me of when, like, you're at a family get-together and you're talking with somebody, one of the adults there, and one of the little kids wants your attention. And you're having a conversation about, say you're having a conversation about money, and the little kid's just standing there waiting for his opportunity. And finally, I have $11. And you go, oh, really, dude? That's great. Okay, dude. Hey, let us finish having this adult conversation, and I'll come talk to you about it in a little bit, okay? Like, that's what it seems like. We're just dealing with such utter stupidity. You're calling others stupid when your English is terrible. What thing did I get wrong now? I'm calling you stupid because you can't address the points being made and keep bringing up other stupid shit. Like my English being terrible. Like, this is the definition of stupid. Know your place, woman. You should be just sitting there silent. You're making women look like the typical women that fit that stereotype. You're not smart enough to engage, but you think that everybody should pay attention to you, so you say stupid things. And then this person, after all the shit talking, is going to then say, God bless. Thank you. Thank you for showing how stupid typical Christians are. Thank you. Stupid, typical, hypocrite Christians. They're all the same. They're just, but you have to be. You have to be to believe in such utter nonsense like the Bible and Christianity. It's so embarrassingly stupid. It's shocking to me that so many people can believe it. And I guess that the reason why so many people believe it but don't know anything about it is because the more you look into it, there's no way you can believe it. Like, the more you look, the more you realize just how dumb it is. So instead of continuing to show yourself how dumb it is, you go with the ignorance, the ignorance perspective. It's amazing how standard it is. Like, I've been doing this for such a long time, and I can't tell you any time where some Christian came in and started trying to make reasonable points and, was addressing things that were brought up and debunking things. It's never happened. I've had hundreds, maybe thousands of Christians come through. Well, I've definitely had thousands of Christians come through. But thousands of Christians come through and say dumb shit. They say plenty of dumb shit. But they can never actually express why they believe what they believe. Even what necessarily they believe. It's just stupid. And it's stupid goyim programming. We have to be stupid. They program you to believe stupid shit. So even if you are an intelligent person, what you believe, what you say ends up being stupidity. So it just makes you stupid anyway. Thinking some savior is going to come down from the sky. And again, when the savior comes down, that means most of the people die. There's only 1 to 1.5 billion Christians on this planet. There's supposedly 8 billion people. That means 6.5 to 6 billion people have to die. Or 6.5 to 7 billion people have to die for you to so you could go to heaven early. Because you don't want to just be a good person your whole life and then get to heaven based on your merits. You want to hurry up and get that shit over and have all the people, all the children all over the world die. Because, you know, they're not Christians. They haven't been baptized. Again, because you don't know the story behind baptism. You know? You don't know what that whole narrative is about. And again, it's a bad guy story. It's about what bad guys did. It's so fucking stupid. It's just unreal. All of the characters in your Bible are bad guys. It's a bad guy narrative. And really, the Bible is, I always compare it to the Princess Bride. Because when you, the watcher, are watching the Princess Bride, you're watching as a grandfather is telling his grandchild a story, and you're watching the story that he's telling. It's like a double fourth wall kind of thing. And that's basically what the Bible is. And you know it because the way that there's a few mentions of the Gentiles, like they're separate. It's not us Gentiles, it's those Gentiles. But there are a few different occasions where they talk about we, and it's they're you know, they're talking about the bad guys. It's a bad guy narrative, and it's a really dumb fucking story. It's not even well written. It's just dumb. You know, and all of you Christians who love to use the Sodom and Gomorrah thing as your justification for your bigotry towards gay people, you clearly don't know what that story says. You just heard somebody else say something, so then you ran with it. Because that story is all about incest. That story is all about disgusting incest and child molestation. Look at, that's just normal. That's nothing. That's just what planes do. I can show you video after video where the planes aren't doing this. But the fact that they're doing it today is because it's normal. It's just what planes do. So interesting, huh? Line after line after line. All the lines going west to east, west to east, west to east. The occasional line going east to west. None of them going north to south. Isn't that interesting? Especially considering the Detroit Metro Airport is roughly 10-15 miles directly south of me. And yet about 40-50 miles east of me is Selfridge Air Force Base. And I'd say about 95% of these trails go west to east. Another 4%, 4.5% go east to west. And then occasionally you'll get one that kind of goes north to south. But it's every, you know, weeks in between. Definitely not daily. How anyone in their right fucking mind sees that shit and thinks it's no big deal is just, I just can't. This is just shocking to me. How do you see that and think it's no big deal? Big giant X in the sky. and you think that's just normal. That's just what planes do. Like it's mind-numbingly stupid. It's as stupid as saying, bad guy land is the victim because they attacked a place and the place attacked back. How do you think that's normal? Look at this one here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's one of the ones with the little plumes on the bottom. Plume, 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 plume. You see that? That's just what planes do, man. If your car did that, if you were driving down the street and your car was leaving this huge, long trail of smoke, you'd take it to the mechanic. But why doesn't this happen every day? I mean, it's fucking windy as hell today, too. You'd think the winds up there are hundreds of miles per hour, right? Nope, they just spread out nicely. How come the majority of the trails on normal days dissipate? But sometimes, on some days, they just do this? Strangely enough, this is normally the flight path where the planes will come up around here and then they'll loop back around so they can go land at Detroit Metro Airport. So I'm not seeing any of those planes today, strangely enough. And if you were to say this is a flight path, well then why does it go from horizon to horizon? If you look at where I am on the map, if all of these planes are flying east, that means they're going into Canada. They're flying into Canadian airspace. Look at that shit. That's just normal, guys. That's just what planes do. It's normal. And then it just slowly expands into this cloud cover that then becomes this weird haze. That's normal. That's just what planes do. Right? Right, guys? Isn't it funny how you provide evidence for people and they have nothing to say? You talk about factual things, they have nothing to say. But they'll come in and they'll make some other nonsense up. Well, your wife doesn't like you. Well, I've been married for 20 fucking years. You know anybody else whose wife likes them after 20 years? Show me. I'd love to see it. Oh, look, we've got another something happening. Just see the little sliver of it. We'll see. Marine cloud brightening. Stratospheric aerosol injection. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Because, the globe is 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit warmer on average. So we got to reflect the sunlight back into space. They say that God's a weapon. Well, I'm a hand grenade. Try to take my ring from me. Watch me detonate. Oh, wow. You're quoting someone else's rock song. Good job. You're married? What's his name? Oh, dude, I'm not gay. Don't call me gay. Oh, I'm super insecure and it bothers me when people say... Oh, so stupid. Oh, man. But again, this person can comment that stuff, right? But when it comes to, yeah, man, we should kill pedos. Yeah, man, we need to stop genocide. Yeah, we need to stop fucking spraying us. They have nothing to say there. But they can make gay jokes. Sunlight doesn't include the radiation. Oh, here we go. Here comes some smart shit from this person, huh? Thought you were leaving with your God bless. Oh, the stupidity. It's so predictable. It's just so predictable. It's so boring. I can't tell you how much I wish my opposition was better. Oh, and again, is it supposed to be some sort of negative that you have all of the world in front of you? You have a computer, which means you could be literally watching or doing anything else. You could be watching porn and jerking off, shit. You could be doing anything. You could be outside, you could be driving, you could be going somewhere to do something, you could be doing any of those things. But instead, you're watching me because I'm so entertaining. And that's supposed to be a negative. Funny how you just seemingly have nothing to say about the pedo stuff though, right? You have nothing to say about the pedos. You have nothing to say about the genocide. You have nothing to say about the bad guy slavery. Nothing to say about any of those things. But boy, are you inspired to talk about gay stuff. Interesting how that works. You're Y-O-U-R, just so handsome. Right, yeah, that's what it must be. You are. Because Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, so super smart. Nobody would purposefully make themselves look so stupid while trying to, mock or call someone else. Like, you just wouldn't do that. That's not something you realize you're doing until it's too late. And if you guys don't think it's strange that these people are so motivated to talk about me, but have nothing to say against pedophilia, against genocide, against slavery. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to see that. Yep, gotta love it, me and my math. Because this dumbass can say shit like that, but has nothing negative to say about pedophiles. Gosh, that doesn't sound very, very bad guy to me, does it? Does that sound bad guy to you? Yeah. This is why I'm straight edge. Oh, well, if straight edge means you're a pedophile who supports genocide and is a dumb slave willingly, glad I'm not. If weed prevents you from being a pedophile, then everybody needs to smoke weed. Or meth. Sorry, meth. It's my meth. I smoke meth blunts. I just, the fact that they just don't realize they're only here because I allow them to be. I'm their God. If I decide they don't get to be here anymore, they don't. But the fact is they don't provide anything negative that I have to worry about. It's always funny to me too how so many people get so mad if you don't believe the earth is round. Oh, I'm so mad about it. I can't actually have an intelligent conversation about it, but I'm mad about it. Mad about that, not mad about genocide, not mad about pedophilia, not mad about slavery. Interesting, man. Keep up with the comments. Keep showing me. Keep providing the example, please. We have new people coming in left and right. So these new people might not realize what's happening. But I want all these new people to notice this. Notice that they have nothing negative to say when it comes to the pedo stuff. My husband's home because I'm gay and I'm married to a man and all that good stuff. Hi, husband. No, make your voice deeper because you're a dude, remember?
That's stupid.
Yeah, there you go. All these people have all this negative to say. Not one of them has some, yeah, you're right, man. Fuck these pedos. We need to kill these pedos. Fuck this genocide. Not one of them has anything to say like that.
Well, speaking of gay, the gay guy at Jimmy John's, I brought him a little house plan. He just got this apartment he's been trying to get, so he paid for our lunch.
Nice. Oh my God, look at that one, Chubb.
Oh my God.
It's even, look at the shadow it's leaving in the other one. So what is that one above it? Or if it's below it, where's the shadow come from? I always wonder that. Where's the shadow come from? Holy shit. Now that is a chalky fucking line, man. Look down on that chemtrail back there. Look at how it's making a shadow on the chemtrail. But the sun is over here, so where is the shadow coming from? Good God, that's insane. I wish I could line it up. Let's see. The glare is getting me. There it is. I got it. Oh, look. The control profiles keep coming back because I'm so bad at what I'm doing. These are the ones that are always crazy to me, right? First of all, the wind is blowing this way, but these look like when you drop dirt into a creek or something and the current takes it that way. Look at that shit. What's making that happen? Yep, I'm on the registry. Now, when you say shit like that, instead of running away like a coward, why don't you prove it? Where? Post the link to me being on the registry. I'd love to see it. That's why I think we should kill pedos, because I'm on the registry and blah, blah. That's the only thing that they could come up with to say. Only thing you could come up with to say. Look at that shit. Wow. Just fucking wow, man. These always seem like the guide ones. Like right after these ones get laid, then there's always a bunch more that come out. Give us your full name and social security number. We'll look you up. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Well, you already know I'm on it, so you won't need that stuff, right? You could easily find it. Why are you making statements if you don't already know? But notice, again, we have somebody that's repeatedly talking about other things. Not condemning pedophiles, not condemning genocide, but they are inspired, motivated to say dumb shit. Who is that going to be? Other than pedophiles, who is going to support pedophiles? Anybody. Every single one of your comments just keeps proving the point, and I appreciate it. So keep them coming. Keep showing us how dumb you are. Not a single one talking about we need to kill pedos, we need to stop that shit, we need to stop this shit. This shit's happening to all of us. Jesus Christ was a convicted felon and Jesus is a fucking fairy tale, you dumbass. Not real. There was no Jesus. It's the dumbest story ever written. It's so amazing that it works so well too, because it really is so stupid. You would think it would require something better than the narrative they give, but it just doesn't. Stupid people will believe what they need to believe. So whereas the next one should come from like right here, right in the crux of the trees going above me maybe. That's my prediction. Again, all of these profiles could easily prove, at least at the very least, that I'm wrong, that it's not a bunch of bad guy bots, Team Jorge style bots that are interfering. All they would have to do is make a single video, 30 seconds, make a short. Do anything you can where you physically are talking shit about me, and then send it to me. Prove that you're a real person. Funny how none of you would do it. Yeah, I saw like Jim Jones should move someplace and drink Kool-Aid. Just dumb shit. Oh look, there's a plane actually taking off from the airport today. Usually they land, but nothing coming out of that plane. Nothing coming out of that plane. Franken skies are taking lives, but there's nothing coming out of that plane. Interesting, huh? Why isn't that coming out of that? Huh. I must be crazy. I must be crazy. Well, it's been fun. As always, go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. It was what was playing in the background for most of this video today. It's free to listen to, free to download. All we ever ask is that you share it with somebody. When you click download, it'll ask you how much you want to pay. I mean, if you want to donate, we really appreciate it, but it's free. So you don't. All we ever ask is that you share it with somebody else. I'm gonna also include in the description. There'll be the link to that. There'll also be the link to the to Hollywoodism, which is the main resource. Like if you really want to know what's going on, go watch this movie Hollywoodism. And if I'm wrong, go watch it and then tell me what I'm wrong about. I'd love to hear either side. Go watch it. And then I'm also going to leave you a link to our two newest songs, Donald Trump Hates America and COVID Sauce. The videos on Facebook. So you can find the Facebook page. So if I'm not live here, I'm live there. But yeah, go check out all that stuff. Go share the links, like, share, sub, do all that stuff here. And most importantly, you pedophiles, kill yourself.